And a very good afternoon and welcome to Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day on Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. We're your home of GNFL footy with Glenn Barden and Peter Forenza keeping you across all the action this afternoon. It is round 13 of the GNFL Community Bank Premiership season, the Indigenous round with thanks to GSAC, Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. Respect yourself and respect your culture. And our game today is coming alive from Mazzacali Oval at Nabwa, and the fourth place home side, Chapman Valley, hosting the undefeated top side Rovers this afternoon. In earlier games today, with thanks to Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton, alongside the city of Greater Geraldton, we can tell you in the Colts, Chapman Valley 21 goals, 17, 144, defeated Rovers 2-1, 13. In the reserves, Chapman Valley 9-9, 63, defeated Rovers 7-3, 45. And in the women's game, which just concluded, the highly fancied Chapman Valley women's side 10-10, 70. They continued their undefeated run, defeated Rovers one behind. So a good performance there from the Chapman Valley women. In other games today at GBSC Sports Park, third place Brigades are hosting fifth side Towns. And the other game in the country today is up at Mullawar, with the seventh place Mullawar looking to open their account. They're hosting the sixth place Northampton, who are chasing their second win of the season. And it should be a big game. We'll keep you up to date, of course, throughout the afternoon from both GBSC Sports Park and Mullawar. But we're joined in commentary, as I am each Saturday afternoon, by Pete Forenza. And it is a beautiful day, Peter, here at Nabwa.
Certainly is, Glenn, as we see the Rovers side making their way out onto Mazzacali Oval. Of course, both teams today, Glenn, are wearing Indigenous-themed Guernseys, because it's a special occasion, isn't it? It
certainly is a special day, and they're all doing the right thing. And I know the players are very, very proud of the jumpers they wear. And it's interesting that the Chapman Valley jumper is, in fact, it was organised and it was also designed by Bo Simpson, who spent 3 years at Chapman Valley Footy Club, and he was quite adept to let the Chapman Valley Footy Club continue to wear it. And I think, you know, he has also played his part in the Rovers Club as well. They have also got beautiful designer jumpers this afternoon, and it's good to see clubs all around the GNFL wearing their special Guernseys for this Indigenous round. It's something that's come a long way over the last decade or so, and it's great to see the clubs and the players so proud to wear the Indigenous jumper.
No, it certainly is. Glenn, you were talking a little bit earlier on about the breeze today. It's going to be a factor, I think, isn't it?
It is. It's worth 3 or 4 goals favouring the city end or the southern end of the ground. The ground is in beautiful condition, so congratulations to the Shire of Chapman Valley for the work they do to make this oval such a good one. We're in beautiful conditions here. The weather is nice, but yeah, as you say, inside the truck, we're doing it from the Classic Clashes truck today, and we must thank Classic Clashes, Premium Grains, Great Southern Fuels, Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation for the Goal of the Year, and AFRI for the Football Mark of the Day. And of course, you can see all the streaming is brought to you by Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation and Bendigo's Community Bank in Geraldton. So we wish all those sponsors all the best today, and it's good that they've all come on board to make it such a special day. The umpires this afternoon, of course, are the Sandra Carr umpires, and I can see that Theo Bennett is one of those. And it's good to see the umpires have also jumped on board with the Indigenous Guernseys, or the Indigenous jumpers this year, and it's great to see that they have joined the party, as it were, and they look in their red jumpers or red shirts. They look very nice indeed, so we'll keep you up to date with the GNFL umpires this afternoon, and Theo Bennett is one of them, and Darren Forrester is another.
Not too far away from a start here at Mazzacali Oval this afternoon. As we said, reasonable conditions for football, a bit of a chill in the air, but of course, Glenn, there's only a few more games, and it only seems a few more games away, but before we know it, it'll be finals time.
It will, yes. We're only 4 games away, really. There's only 4 rounds to go, and we'll be into the finals, the second and first semi-final, so looking forward to that. And looking at the Chapman Valley side for today's game, they've come up with a pretty useful side. They are, of course, without their coach in Jaden Schofield, but looking at the Chapman Valley side for today, from the fullback line, Tom Walker, Jaden Thompson, Nick Mosley, halfbacks Jordan Gould, Harrison Criddle, Arlo Mosiejak, centre line of Tyree Thorne, Dylan Williamson, Sam Boyce, half forwards of Mitchell Thompson, Cooper Omadai, Riley Brown, and the full forward line of Mason Hughes, Rex Flay and Mick Horseman. Lucas Renwick is making his debut today. He's come up from the Colts for his first game, so So we wish Lucas Renwick all the best today. Other interchange players for Chapman Valley are Harrison Lane, Jordan Logie and Cody Doran. And the first ruck for Chapman Valley, Daniel Bulgono, Kim Schofield and Sam Solomon. So Chapman Valley's side looking good, but so too are the Rovers side, Peter.
Yeah, the Rovers side reads from the back line Jake Criddle, Kobe Simpson and Bo Simpson. The half-back line comprises Jack Eastop, Kobe Bursell and Tristan Simpson. The centre line, Sean Brennan, Jamin Alone and Kane Simpson. The half-forward line, Chris Scott, Farron Parfitt, Sheldon Nelly. The forward line, Josh Simpson, Clay Azevedo and Gabriel Parfitt. The ruck division, Blake Tazewell, Tom Denton and Jason Daniels. Interchange will come from Colin Credelli and Jamie Gear, who returns to the lineup after having a hand injury for about 3 to 4 weeks. So good to have him back in the lineup. Well, good for Rovers, that is. And Kevin Sealander along with Kyson Credelli.
And we see the umpires and the players lining up as we have our welcome to country for this special day, which is the Indigenous round of Great Northern Footy League, and of course doing it today for the sponsors GSAC, which is Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation, and the theme this year is Respect Yourself, Respect Your Culture, as the players are greeted now and the umpires in front of the crowd here. Looks like a pretty handy crowd here at Mazzucchelli Oval this afternoon. Lots of people would have loved the drive out, Peter, and it was a very pretty drive, wasn't it? Lots of canola out in flower. And
it's always good when you see the canola. Puts a smile on your face.
It does, and the crops are looking nice and green as we see the Welcome to Country happening in front of the change rooms and club rooms here at Mazzucchelli Oval. So the players are lined up. The Chapman Valley side at the southern end, the Rovers side are at the northern end, the umpires standing in the middle, and we're about to get this big game underway. A very important game, big games today as we mentioned. And it'll be interesting to see how the Brigades Towns game goes. Brigades will start favourites. They came home pretty strongly last week. They're playing good footy. They are sitting up near the top of the premiership table, so they need to keep winning. And the other game is out at Mullawa, where Mullawa are hosting Northampton. And that game is at Mullawa Oval. And Northampton will be chasing their second win. Mullawa will be chasing their first. So a pretty important day out there for them as it is. Rovers, they are sitting on top of the premiership table, looking pretty happy at the moment, and they would be pretty content with where they stand, because we have Rovers on top with 40 premiership points at the moment. Railways are second with 32. Brigades are third with 28. At the moment, Chapman Valley are fourth with 20. Towns are fifth with 12. Northampton are sixth with 4. And Mullawa, as I mentioned, yet to open their account.
Speaking with TNFL President Grant Russell a bit earlier today, he did confirm then that if Rovers or whoever finish on top, at this stage Rovers 2 games clear, if they do finish on top, they will get a home final in the second semi.
Well, that's good if that's the rule and that's the way it has, but we know in recent years there has been some conjecture about who has finished on top of the ladder and where the games have been played, but yeah, if that's the rules or that's the law, that's the way it needs to be, and I don't think anyone's got any problems with that. There should be some incentive. We do know in other leagues, generally sometimes whoever finishes on the second or finishes in the top ends up where the grand final is played. But here in the Great Northern, the grand final is played at Wonthalla, and generally the other final is played at the recreation ground, but that may be a little different this year.
Incidentally, Glenn, just got word through that the Phoenix Buccaneers won their game against the Hawks in Perth earlier today. I did have a score. I might be able to find that quickly for you, but the score I think was about 10 points, but I'll just double check that. So they were playing the Hawks today in Perth, and it was 125 to 110. So looking pretty still. The Buccaneers, and tonight they have the awards night for the NBL 1. And our very own Dale Joseph is in the line for Coach of the Year.
Okay, and we've had the toss of the coin. Rovers won the toss, and Rovers going with the breeze at their back, so they've got a good toss to win today. As we touched on, it's a pretty important toss to win because it's worth 3 or 4 goals. As we see the umpires coming out, Darren Forrester is one of the umpires, also Paul Luxton, and the other umpire, as I mentioned, is Theo Bennett. The other 3 umpires this afternoon, and plenty of experience amongst those gentlemen, so we do wish them well, and they'll be looking forward to wearing the Indigenous shirts, which they are, and doing a great job as they always do. So some very good experienced umpires for this one. Because of Rovers' form, of course they'll start favourites in this contest. They have won every game so far this year. They've been the side to beat. And Chapman Valley have got a pretty young and developing side, and it'll be interesting to see how they cope against
There's always an old adage, people have used it time and time again, that you'd like to drop one before the end of the season, but I think South Fremantle in the WAFL put paid to that last season, didn't they?
They did, yes. Oh no, I think you go out to win every game, but sometimes you just do have an ordinary game, don't you? But I'm not saying no game to have an ordinary game today,
No.
but at some time, at some stages, and we see it at the top level. You see it at AFL level. Sometimes if you don't come at your very best, you struggle a little. So it'll be interesting to see how the sides go at it. Important game, this one. Both sides will be building up. This is a real test for Chapman Valley. They showed a little bit more last week against Northampton, but we know Northampton aren't in the four, and Northampton have struggled at times this year, but they are improving. But we do know that Rovers have taken all before them. We're about to get this first term underway in our Drennan O'Malley Motors game day on Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. We're your home of GNFL footy, and today with classic clashes as well. As umpire Luxon holds the ball aloft, we're about to get the big one underway this afternoon. This first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, and the big fellas go at it. Ball comes to the ground, comes the way of Rovers in Sean Brennan. He gets a handball forward, packed around the ball. Ball goes to ground again. Umpire gives them every opportunity to get it out, but no ball away at the moment. Grandstand is full of people over there on the Farrell balcony, looking forward to a big contest this afternoon. Ball goes the way of Rovers. Rovers with a breeze at their back in this first quarter. In goes a Rovers player, hard at the ball. Ball picked up, and Rovers go forward again. It goes forward through Daniels, gets it up towards the forward pocket, and a good mark taken up there. And it looks like Josh Simpson has taken the mark. Josh Simpson, the former Fremantle Docker, been around the place for a little while now, still only 31 years of age, so still a young man. And Josh Simpson playing some good football for his Demons this year.
I think I've first seen him play in a Valley Guernsey group.
And under 16s? Yeah, he was a bit of a jet then too, wasn't he? So Josh is lining up for goal. He is 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle, kicking to the southern end. Can he get the first score on the board? It goes across the face of goal, through for 1 point only. And on the Bambi scoreboard this afternoon, Chapman Valley are yet to open their account, and we see that Rovers are one behind, and we've played a minute 20 in this first term.
And the ball going straight back down the middle of the ground from the defence for Chapman Valley. At half back now, it's going to the grandstand side of the ground. Chapman Valley setting something up, quickly going into attack inside their forward 50 now. Back in defence though, the Rovers player found better position, and that player was Kobe Bursell. Had a good couple of seasons, Bursell. Took away to his teammate then, Kobe Simpson, but he's all at sea, Simpson. He dropped the ball on the first occasion and tried to deliver it, and also came foul in his skill level on that occasion, and the ball be balled up just inside the forward 50 for Chapman Valley. Rovers to the first shot at goal. Can Chapman Valley get the first full pointer? Ball going away now. The player quickly puts it onto his boot inside the forward 50, but there he is again. Kobe Bursell being Rocket Gibraltar in the early stages, making his options. I dread them going down the middle, back then, and he does, and he comes out toward our broadcast side. He's looking for a play out there, and he finds the player that's equal to the task. Running onto it now is Chris Scott. Chris Scott, the former JJ Clune medalist. So you're never a former JJ Clune medalist. He is one. He sends it inboard, and the player running onto it on this occasion will get a free kick. And that player there is Gabriel Parfitt. So Gabriel Parfitt didn't play last season for the Demons. Has been a welcome acquisition in 2026. The umpire is asking the players to clear out of the zone. So he goes laterally now. Finds that player there. He does boost it. Done pretty well this season. And Clay Azevedo, nice big kick inside the forward 50. Can he run onto it? A little bit too quick on this occasion for Simpson. Finds the boundary. And deep attack once again for the Demons.
This first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And we've played 3 minutes. Boundary umpire put the ball back into play in the right forward pocket, the end to which Rovers are kicking in this first term.
I think Chapman Valley should have white numbers, Glenn.
Yes, I think so too. We've come across this before in the last Indigenous game. Very hard to pick out black numbers on a blue shirt, and that's the way it is. Ball comes back into play. Maybe the next ones, when they get them designed, will put our order in for white numbers. Ball goes the way of the Rovers player, and Clay Azevedo from 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. He's got the first score on the board, the first goal of the afternoon, and Rovers are away to a flyer. A good goal there to Clay Azevedo, as you say. He's a class player, and he moves the ball well, and he finishes well on that occasion. And Rovers on the Bambi scoreboard. Rovers 1 goal 1. They lead Chapman Valley yet to score.
So Clay Azevedo, as I said, he's promised a little bit this season, has upped the ante somewhat. As we said in recent seasons, his performance has plateaued somewhat, but he's got the build, he's got the skill set, and he's putting that to use in the Rovers combination in this particular season. So first goal on the board to Chapman Valley, as I mentioned, they go to, Rovers go to 1 straight goal, 1 goal 1. I apologise, the scoreboard attendant isn't sure that they did score a goal. He hasn't put it up yet, but Chapman alone coming out of the middle now. He bursts out of the pack. A nice big kick into the full forward area. That was almost a nice mark taken again by the player there in Simpson. Josh Simpson gets another by the cherry. He doesn't waste any opportunity and scores another goal for Rovers. Gee, that was great play by Josh Simpson, Glenn. He just hovered around. He didn't get the ball on the first attempt. He was there again, and he put it through for another goal. So Rovers off to a good start here at Mazzy-Calliope.
Yeah, very, very handy start in the first 5 minutes.
Scoreboard attendant isn't actually in doing anything at the moment.
No, he's gone to have a pie, and the scoreboard hasn't rolled over. But we can tell you that Rovers are 2 goals 1, and doing the job at the moment. Rovers are 2 goals 1, and Chapman Valley yet to open their account. So the ball back at the setup. Our umpires this afternoon for Sandra Carr, the MLC, Paul Luxon, Darren Forrester and Theo Bennett. Looking nice in the red shirts. They're Indigenous shirts this afternoon with a black stripe. Ball comes the way of Sean Brennan, who threw the ball, and the umpire says it's a free kick to Chapman Valley. So Chapman Valley have the ball in the centre. Goes the way of the Chapman Valley youngster. Gets in the way of Kim Schofield. Kim Schofield breaks out of the centre. Kicks it up towards full forward, pack into the air. Best to read it is the Rovers player. He was lucky not to get caught in possession. Kobe Simpson gets rid of the ball just at the nick of time. Ball punched away now. Ball still in the centre of the ground. In goes Gabriel Parfitt. Goes the way now of a Rovers player. He can't pick it up. Chapman Valley can through the agency of Harrison Criddle. Gets it up towards half forward. Rovers player takes them on. Umpire lets it slip out. It comes out the way of Thorne. Thorne throws boot to ball, but he's offline. Well and truly out of bounds on the full. So Rovers get the pressure off, and Rovers get the ball out of the back pocket in the old Valley Tavern pocket. He kicks it back up towards the centre of the ground where he finds Kobe Simpson.
Yeah, Kobe Simpson get a lot of the ball in defence for Rovers at the moment, but he's become a leverage for attack up front. He goes laterally now, finds a teammate equal to the task, puts it onto his boot and sends it further afield. Talk about Tristan Simpson. Simpson to Simpson. We call that a simplex, don't we? Down into the half-forward line, and looking a bit fitter in this particular game than he did last week. Here's the player there in Chris Scott. He's at the other side, I should say the grandstand side of the ground. He sends it inboard now, but his kick is taken by the Chapman Valley defender. Coming wide now. He finds a youngster out here, quickly puts it onto his boot, sends it down the wing. On this side of the ground, Chapman Valley have a bit of time. Sam Boyce, he sends it inboard, looking for support in there. Player all on his lonesome, takes the mark. He'll shoot into the forward 50. That's Riley Brown. Sizing up his options. Not the best of kicks. Bit of a scrubber though. Going inside to passage of play there to the host of players. One player diving on top of him, Cooper Almaday. Cooper Almaday, Glenn, probably has promised a lot in the last couple of seasons. Probably hasn't been able to deliver. Not saying that he hasn't been adequate, but came with a bit of fanfare to Chapman Valley as the ball goes further afield now into the half-forward area. He hasn't met that target. Talking about Cooper Almaday. The ball going forward again for Chapman Valley, quickly brought to the ground, and a bit of a pack developed. So what do you think about the youngster?
Well, Cooper Almaday, he was best on ground last week for Chapman Valley, so he's back in form and finding his feet now after a bit of an injury concern, but he's playing well now, so he'll be buoyed by that performance, and he'll have a bit of competition today, of course, playing against Rovers.
Chapman Valley will have their first shot on goal here, Glenn, I think.
Yes, an important kick.
And it's Tommy Walker, I think.
So the ball is right in front of the Chapman Valley forwards, and Tom Walker, as Peter mentioned, maybe the players at number 19.
Yes, it is. As we said, hard to pick those numbers, and we're looking into a bit of a silhouette, and we've got black numbers, so it doesn't help.
Tommy Walker back from injury and gets the kick through,
kick.
and Chapman Valley needed that one to steady things down. So on the scoreboard for Bambi this afternoon, we see Chapman Valley go to 1-0, 1-0 to the opposition, which is 2 goals, 1. 2 goals, 1. Well, they're taking the score off altogether now.
Okay, let's hopefully it gets the person doing the scoreboard. Electronic scoreboard's supposed to make things a lot easier.
We're using the one on the classic Clashes one. That's
and we can't see that one though. We can't see that one. So we probably should send a message and say, please use the scoreboard because we can't see it for the broadcast. If you are listening, let the scoreboard attendants know that. Ball back in the middle now, and the last score by Chapman Valley has seen the Royals even things up somewhat. Up into the air it goes. It's one on this occasion by Chapman Valley. Into space it goes, onto the boot of the Royals and into the half-forward area. Can they set something up? Going to the broadcast side. I keep saying the broadcast side. It is where we normally are, but Chapman Valley have it on the grandstand side. And the ball coming in now. They're going to have another shot on goal in as many moments. But this player probably a little bit far out, just over 50 metres outside the big arc. He's going to have a shot on goal. So let's see what happens here. He's got to play on. He gives it away to the player. Quickly puts it onto his boot, and Kim Schofield, he doesn't get the distance. Over the back, the Rovers defenders working hard to make sure it goes over the back line and through for the minor score. So the scoreboard ticks over. On this occasion, doesn't tick over, or else it has now.
They got it back
up to date.
Yeah.
They must be listening to us. 2-1-13. That is Rovers leading at Chapman Valley 1-1-7.
Very good. Ball back in the centre wing. Comes out to Omadai now. He breaks across half forward, puts it on his left boot, shoots towards goal, but he's offline. And another minor score to Chapman Valley on the Bambi scoreboard. Chapman Valley a 1-2-8. And we see that Rovers are 2 goals, 1-8. So Chapman Valley have come back in the last couple of minutes, and the time is ticking by. We've played 12 minutes in this term, so looking forward to a pretty interesting contest here at Mazzucchelli Oval this afternoon.
Rovers' new recruit on the half-forward line picks the ball up, although loses possession, going back away the defence for Chapman Valley. Starting to push it to the Demons, who probably got the better start of the two sides this afternoon. The ball goes to the boundary just in front of the dugout for Chapman Valley and finds the white line. Ball back to be thrown in now. As Glenn said, early stages of the first term. Rovers lead on the premiership table by 2 clear games here in the GNFL. Can Chapman Valley make some inroads as we head toward the latter end of the season? The ball is with Rovers now as it comes in inward. It's alone. He puts it onto his boot, and the kick isn't directed. Straight down the throat of the defender for Chapman Valley. He'll come laterally now on the half-back line. The Royals send it further afield. The ball coming down the ground now. Finds Cody Doran. Doran down the line. He's looking for Borgogno, and he doesn't take the mark. Keeps the ball in his keeping though. It takes it over the white line, right in front of our broadcast position here for filming footy and also Radio Mama.
Yes, Jordan Gould running alongside Kane Simpson this afternoon, 2 of the young guns for their respective sides. Ball thrown in, goes the way of Mick Horseman. He slaps it to ground, goes the way of Gabriel Parfitt. There's that man we spoke about, Kane Simpson, breaks a tackle, gets a handball away, goes the way of Azevedo. Azevedo kicks it up towards half forward. His kick carries his teammate. In goes Jaden Thompson, tries to slap the ball forward. He does so. Goes the way now of Farron Parfitt. He runs around his opponent, screws it around the corner, looking up the ground, looking there for a Rovers player, but Chapman Valley defence in Harrison Criddle does well. Ball comes back towards Chapman Valley and they clear through Mitchell Thompson. Goes the way now of Cody Doran. Cody Doran kicks the ball forward. Nobody home for Chapman Valley, and Rovers can relieve the pressure on centre wing. From the middle stages of this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, as Rovers move the ball forward.
Farron Parfitt going for his 200th goal today, Glenn, as he sized up his options and decides to go short and finds Kane Simpson. Now, Kane Simpson has got a bit of toe on him, Glenn. He has, he's at his back, and he decides to play off to Jamin Alliance. He can boost it forward, and he does, but it's inaccurate. And through for the minor score. Gee, he hoisted that one.
He did, he missed it though, and Rovers probably just got value for breeze at the moment. so they need to keep pushing. Scoreboard ticks over for Bambi this afternoon, and it is Rovers 2-2. They lead Chapman Valley 1-2. So we've got a 6-point ball game as Chapman Valley try to work the ball out of defence. We're about 5 minutes away from the time on period, so we've played about 15 minutes, and the ball comes up the ground, goes the way of Kane Simpson again. He's getting a little bit of the ball now, gets it in towards the centre, ball bounces away from the Rovers big man, picked out by Mick Horseman. He kicks it up towards full forward, looking there for Tommy Walker, but the kick was too strong. Goes back to Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson puts it on his left boot, comes out wide looking for Chris Scott. Chris Scott runs around his opponent, kicks it up towards half forward, finds Clay Azevedo all on his own. Azevedo gets it further up the ground, and he's picked out Sheldon Nelly, and Sheldon Nelly is marked 50 metres out, about 15 metres from the boundary line, kicking towards the southern end, goes by hand, picks it out to Azevedo. Azevedo shoots on goal. Beautiful kick, but it's hit the post, and the post about right at the top. So another minor score there to Rovers on the Bambi scoreboard. Rovers go to 2 goals 3-15. Chapman Valley 1 goal 2-8. And Chapman Valley to bring the ball out of defence.
Rovers doing a bit more attacking now as we head to the latter stages. Middle to the latter stages of the first term, brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. Glad to have them on board this season. Of course, they are platinum sponsors with the GNFL as well. So, Community Bank, face-to-face banking. And you can do it on Saturday as well. The ball coming further afield now. And the players diving on top of it. Chapman Valley do the better, and as we have Schofield. Schofield out of the pack, gets it to a teammate, quickly onto his boot, and Gould couldn't take the mark. He got his arms out there, but he has a second bite of the cherry. Did well. He escapes a couple of players and sends the ball into space. Greengrass had something to do with it there. Going back the way now. Chapman Valley, but it's Bo Simpson that comes through the middle. He steals the ball. He's got a bit of room here. Straight down the corridor he goes, and there he is, Josh Simpson. Up he goes and takes a textbook mark and have a shot on goal for the Demons.
So a quick rebound. Chapman Valley mucked around, missed the ball in the half-forward line. Quick rebound, and all of a sudden it's on the high mark of Josh Simpson, and Josh is in good form. He's kicked one already. He's going back to shoot on goal. So Josh Simpson playing in the forward line today, and he is only 35 to 40 metres out, directly in front. Has an opportunity to get the third goal of the afternoon for the Demons. So Josh has had a sighter, and he's a clever player. He'll be using his nous and ability to kick through this one. There goes the kick from Josh. Looks pretty good. Straight through the centre. Josh Simpson has his second of the afternoon. And Rovers had their third. And on the Bambi scoreboard, Rovers go to 3 goals 3-21. They lead Chapman Valley 1 goal 2-8. And we've got about 6 minutes to play in this first term. With thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, I'd say now Rovers have probably got value for the breeze. So from head on now, in time on, is when they really make some hay.
I don't know if Josh Simpson has he got off the leash yet, Glenn, because he looks like he's getting dangerous today.
He does. He looks very, very much so. And it's important that you don't turn the ball over. And Chapman Valley, a loose handball on the half-back line, and it rebounded very, very quickly. Umpire Luxon puts the ball into the air. This time Chapman Valley get the best of it, and they go forward up towards the half-forward line there, but Rovers have defence, and they come out. Goes the way of Kane Simpson again. He screws the ball around the corner, finds a teammate on the far side, in the grandstand side, in Jack Eastoff. Eastoff goes with a short pass and finds Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson plays on now, finds it a good teammate there, and Kevin Sealander. Kevin Sealander plays on quickly, kicks it in towards half forward, looking there for Farron Parfitt, feeds it out towards Tommy Denton. Tom Denton kicks it towards full forward. In goes Rex Flay, gets boot to ball now, ball comes back. In goes the Rovers player in Chris Scott. Chris Scott shoots for goal from 50 metres.
Jeez, that was a beauty.
And that was a very big kick and a very good goal.
He's off for half step too, Glenn.
It was. Chris Scott gets his fourth of the afternoon for Rovers in his first term. So Rovers starting to take toll now. And on the Bambi scoreboard, Rovers go to 4 goals 3-27. Chapman Valley 1 goal 2-8. So Rovers starting to do very well. That was a magic goal from the big fella in Chris Scott.
Just dropped it straight on his boot pretty quickly, didn't he? And he wasn't even balanced, but he knew where the goals were. And that's why he's won a clean medal, Glenn. He certainly knows what to do with the footy. That is Chris Scott. Of course, played with the Railways Football Club last year, but returned to his beloved Demons this season. and could he be playing in a premiership combination this year? The ball back in the middle now. Rovers on the scoreboard have, as Glenn said, starting to stretch things out, 4-3-27. But Chapman Valley 1-2-8. Ball back in the middle, up they go. Out of the middle it comes again, and it's Simpson, and that is Tristan Simpson this time onto his boot into the half-forward area. He's looking for the player there in Parfitt, Gabriel Parfitt, but it goes back the way of a teammate there. At 6s and 7s now, the defence for Chapman Valley. A lot of pressure from the forwards for Rovers to keep it in their forward 50. And this bloke certainly doing his part, and that is Simpson. Josh Simpson gets it away to Kane Simpson. Cousins, you'd think. Kane Simpson's a bit of a worm burner. Gives it away to Credali now. Credali goes one way, then the other. Gives it back to a teammate who sends it across. That is Denton. He gives it to Scott. Scott's caught in possession, though. And then he was all at sea, Chris Scott. He was more or less a bit of a hospital ball from Denton in the end there, and was caught in possession. So the ball back with Chapman Valley now.
Kim Schofield was the player to put the pressure on.
It was a good piece of footy, wasn't it, by Kimmy Schofield. The ball coming inboard now. Simpson, that's Tristan Simpson. Goes to ground. Player is tackled without the ball, though. And it'll come back to the Chapman Valley player, and that is the player there in Schofield. Kimmy Schofield probably racking up the most possessions for his side in this particular term. That's no surprise, you would think. The ball inside the corridor it goes, but it's Rovers who come out with it, and that is Tristan Simpson. A nice little chip pass up into the air. He finds the player there in Parfitt. Gabriel Parfitt gives it away back to Simpson now. Simpson straight through the middle. A nice kick into the half-forward area. And there's a player that I believe is starting to make a mark in the Rovers combination. He certainly did at a couple of championships in the Colts division a couple of weeks ago. We're talking about Sheldon Nelly.
Sheldon Nelly lining up for goal. And he has had an opportunity before, but he handed the ball over. So he's 50 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Almost the same position, isn't it?
It is. He's looking for someone to run past, but there's no one going to run past, so he's going to shoot on goal. So he's perhaps lacking a bit of confidence in his kicking at the moment, which he shouldn't be because he's a very fine kick. There goes his kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. And to the right-hand side goes through for a minus score. Yeah, he got the distance, but didn't get the accuracy, but it wasn't far off. Chapman Valley bring the ball back into play.
Rovers get better by doing it more often, isn't it?
That's right. On the scoreboard, Rovers are 4-4-28, Chapman Valley are 1-2-8. So
hasn't been in Chapman Valley's forward 50 for a little while now. 20
points the margin as the ball comes back, goes the way of Kane Simpson. So Kane's got a lot of the ball. We said we hadn't had a lot of it, but he's done a lot since then.
Yeah, well, last week
feeds
he was
it out,
pretty quiet, wasn't he?
Goes the way there of another Rovers player running forward and kicking the ball is Josh Simpson. Picked up now by Gabriel Parfitt and finishes off. That's the 5th goal of the quarter to the Rovers side as we head to the latter stages of this term. It's been a very good performance from Rovers at this point. Rovers on the Bambi scoreboard of 5-4-34. And Chapman Valley 1-2-8.
Kane Simpson heading for the interchange at the moment, Glenn, and we did have a bit of discussion about him just moments ago. But I think he didn't figure in the possession getters last week for Rovers. But I mean, Rovers have they're in a good position where they can have a lot of players that you could say wax on, wax off, don't they?
That's right, exactly. There's always someone else to stand up in a side that's got a lot of good players. And at the moment, the good players are standing up and getting the job done, which is what you asked for, isn't it?
Ball back in the middle now. Rovers, the last score by Gabriel Parfitt, sends getting a handy lead here in the first term, 5-4-34. They lead the Demons to Chapman Valley 1-2-8. Just 12 and a half minutes gone. Gone in this, the first term. So still a bit of time to go, and Rovers are certainly using every bit of that. Ball back in the middle again. Bogano is certainly rucking hard this afternoon, but gets onto the boot now. The Rovers player, he sends it forward into the half-forward area. There's Gabriel Parfitt, goes laterally now and gives it away to Azevedo. He sees the goals, he doesn't waste any time, and that's another goal for the Demons, and they're having a party, Glenn.
They are, and that's the trouble. We said they kicked 4 goals, they probably got their value for the breeze, but that's what you do in the time-on period. As you head towards quarter time, we've seen Rovers kick the last 3 unanswered, and Chapman Valley haven't been able to get the ball forward of centre. So on the Bambi scoreboard, it is Rovers 6-4-40. Chapman Valley 1 goal, 2-8. Rovers do have the breeze at their back.
Ironic also to mention that Daniel Bogano is probably winning his majority of taps in the middle, but just no one's picking it up for him.
That's right. So a good bit of play there as we see the ball going forward on a number of occasions, and Clay Azevedo finishing off. Clay's now got 2 goals for the quarter.
Gabriel Parfitt's been dangerous, isn't he?
He has. He's kicked 1. Chris Scott has kicked 1, and Josh Simpson has kicked 2. So they're the goal scorers. Chapman Valley haven't troubled the scorer as yet. Ball smothered off the boot, and the ball comes back now towards Chapman Valley. Goes the way of Sam Solomon. Solomon kicks the ball up towards centre wing, but the best player there at the moment is Josh Simpson. Josh grabs it, kicks it back to whence it came. Up goes the Chapman Valley there. Tyree Thorne gives it away of Omadai. Omadai gives it away of Jaden Thompson. He kicks it in towards the centre, but once again we have Rovers running forward through the agency of the player there in Kevin Sealander. Cut off by Harrison Criddle. Harrison Criddle kicks it back towards the centre of the ground. Ball bounces, comes back towards Chapman Valley, then to Rovers, back to Rovers. Azevedo's there. Azevado goes out wide, looking for the hard-running Chris Scott. Very close to the boundary, does well, picks it up, runs towards the forward pocket, takes a bounce, right, then he gets a handball away, gives it away of Jamin Alone, and Alone walks into an open goal and gets the 7th goal of the afternoon for the Rovers side. A little bit too easy there. We saw Chris Scott use his big body, and he's certainly running a lot better than he was last week.
He is unselfish playing. Good teamwork by Scott on that occasion, because of course Salome was in the better position. Beautiful check side kick to finish that one off.
Yeah, Jamin Alone gets his first. He kicked 5 last week, so he's
Glenn, he's only missed 3 games. He's been out through injury this season. Talking a little bit earlier, only missed 3 games. So he will figure in the clean medal. There's nothing shorter than that once again.
Well, that would be good to see. As we see the scores from around the ground start coming through, and no wind at the Graham at Brigades this afternoon, and at quarter time, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, we can tell you that at quarter time, Towns 3 goals 2-20, lead Brigades 2-2-14.
It's an interesting scoreline there from TBSC Sports Park. Of course, the other game being played out at Mullenwell today as well. But
that's right. We'll bring you those scores if and when they come to hand.
Well, about to be thrown up. The Rovers certainly got a handle on this game at Mazzucchelli Oval here this afternoon. In Chapman Valley arrest the momentum, but the only way to do that is have a break. And the break here is still a little way away, probably about 4 or 5 minutes. Been a few goals by Rovers, so time on will play a part. The ball in the middle, going back the way now of the Rovers player, but there it is. As I've mentioned, I thought there was a bit more time, but it is quarter time. Hasn't come quick enough for Chapman Valley. Rovers have a commanding lead here in the first term of our Drennan O'Malley game day. At quarter time, it is Rovers 7-4-46. Lead Chapman Valley 1-8, and you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
And a very good afternoon. Welcome back to quarter time of the football. Drill O'Malley Motors game day on Radio Mama and Radio Jordan. We're your home of GNFL footy with Glenn Barnett and Peter Fiorenza, and a special guest joining us shortly. It's round 13 of the GNFL Community Bank Premiership season, and the Indigenous round with thanks to GSAC, Sports Aboriginal Corporation, Respect Yourself and Respect Your Culture, and Rovers are away to a flyer here at Mazzucchelli Oval. And Rovers are 7-4-46, Chapman Valley 1-2-8, a 38-point margin. But we're joined in commentary now by Gordon Clinch to tell us a little bit about GSAC and the work they do and the importance of Indigenous round. Good morning and good afternoon to you, Gordy, this afternoon.
Hello, how you going?
I'm going well. Rovers are away to a flyer today.
Yeah, good start for Rovers.
So tell us a little bit about GSAC and the importance of the Indigenous round.
Yeah, GSAC been working with GNFL for the last 10 years, getting the Indigenous round going. I think we are the first competition to get it running in the state. So, yeah.
And you'd be pretty happy with all the clubs and all the umpires getting on board and wearing it?
Yep.
So the opportunity is there, and all the clubs will eventually wear their Indigenous round. I know Railways will showcase theirs when they play next week.
Yep.
So it's a good day for everyone, and we thank GSAC for your support.
Yep, and Bo Simpson did the design for Chapman Valley Guernseys.
Yes.
And he's also did the footies. So the best song we going to get the footy. So.
Very nice. Thanks for that, Gordon.
No worries.
We're back underway in this second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, and looking at better players and contenders for the Skinner's Restaurant Player of the Day. Peter, you're looking at the better players for Rovers. Who impressed you in the first quarter? So we're looking at the better scores.
Okay, we're back. We just lost a bit of power there for a moment, but anyway, better players for the Rovers side were Gabriel Parfitt, Josh Simpson, Chris Scott, and Jamin Alone, Glenn.
And for Chapman Valley, they were few and far between, but the boys in defence are working hard. Jaden Thompson is doing well, Harrison Criddle, and I thought the big fella Bomber in the ruck is doing well, Daniel Burgono. Ball is on centre wing in front of the club rooms here at Mazzucchelli Oval, and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. The umpires this afternoon for Sandra Carr, MLC, Paul Luxon, Darren Forrester and Theo Bennett. So the ball goes up into the air, slapped forward, and Chapman Valley need a big quarter to get themselves back into this contest because Rovers have broken it open pretty quickly, and Chapman Valley were doing all right till about the middle stages of that term, but Rovers kicked the last 5 goals unanswered and have gone to a massive 38-point lead. Ball on centre wing. Goes the way now of Chapman Valley's player who kicks it up towards half forward, and Rovers get the kick away. Goes the way of Bo Simpson who gets it to Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson on the back line, kicks it up towards half back. Chapman Valley have the numbers. Can they get the ball forward? Ball slapped forward, but only as far as the Rovers player. Once again, a pack around the ball. Ball comes out. Chapman Valley putting pressure on the ball and trying to get the ball up the ground. Chapman Valley have the breeze in this quarter, and they need to use it.
38 points in arrears are the Valley coming into this second term. They really need to get a score on the board early to Started making some inroads in this Trinidad Rally Game Day encounter here on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Peter Forenza of Glenbarn bringing you all the action. Also via filming footy. So the ball on the far side now is the Subaru. We're seeing that Chapman Valley will now bring it in. So Chapman Valley is desperate to get another score on the board. Start evening things out somewhat into the full forward area. Up they go. The Rovers defence doing well on this occasion. Out of the fence it comes straight down the middle. And the ball is with the line. He's been good this afternoon. He's been good in every game he's played this season. Azavado, nice big kick into the, I should say, nice clever kick into the half forward area. No one can take the mark. Goes away with Dent and he brings his opponent to the ground. In fact, on an occasion was with Jamie Greer. Jamie Greer, I should say, back into the lineup after injury. Here's the captain of the Rovers side. Ball going backward now to the Rovers player who shoots a goal. That's Sheldon Nally. He's found his mojo, Glenn, and he scores a goal for the Demons.
Yeah, a very good goal. It only took 3 minutes for Rovers to get their first score on the board in this term, and a good goal there from Sheldon Nally. And he, as you say, starting to find the fall and starting to find his form, and Sheldon Nally becomes another goal scorer. So looking at the goal scorers for Rovers, and our quarter-by-quarter summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. And Sheldon Nally has kicked one now. Jamin Alone has kicked one. Gabriel Parfitt one. Chris Scott one. And 2 apiece to Josh Simpson and Clay Azevedo.
Yeah, Rovers finding avenue to goal very, very easy. And I'm not really sure what Chapman Valley can do at this stage because they seem to be playing not even a set play Rovers. They're quicker at the fall of the ball and their options are plenty.
Yeah, there's a lot more runnings and a lot more confidence in the Rovers side at the moment, and they're doing it very easily indeed. Looking at the quarter-by-quarter scores, still waiting for a quarter-by-quarter score from out there at Mullawar, and we're into the second quarter now, but we'll tell you that score in a moment as Chapman Valley defence do well and take a good mark. A little bit of a bubble happening around the ball. Umpire is watching it. And the free kick will go up the ground on 50 metre. So the ball is with Flay. Flay will take the ball from half back up to half forward. And looking at a quarter time score up there at Mullawar. Mullawar 2-1-13, Northampton 2-1-13. So scores are level in the game out there at Mullawar this afternoon. As the ball's with Sealander now for Mullawar. Goes the way to a teammate. The Rovers have got plenty of run this afternoon. Goes the way now of Simpson. Bo Simpson kicks it forward, looking up there for Scott. Scott gets caught in possession. Ball comes to ground. Goes the way now of a Rovers player. Ball socket forward. Ball comes to ground and Rovers go forward. A big kick up towards the forward line. Ball running free. Azevedo's there and he sockers the ball through. And he kicks a goal from 15 metres out.
Gabriel Parfitt played a big part in that, Glenn. He's got some good skills, hasn't he?
Oh, he's a beautiful, skilled player. As the ball rolls over for a beautiful goal, the scoreboard for Bambi this afternoon, Rovers have got it ticking over nicely. Rovers are 9 goals for 58. They lead Chapman Valley 1 goal 2-8. And yes, it's getting ugly here at Mazza.
But when you see something like that goal from Azevedo, it is just like everything is going right for the Demons, even the bounce, man.
Yes. So Clay Azevedo getting a very good goal. This is second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Duca.
Second goal, isn't it?
It is Clay's third goal.
Third goal. Gee, he's piling him up as Clay Azevedo. We've talked him up and he's living up to the expectations, Glenn, here in this game today at Mazza Oval. Early stage of the second term, and Rovers going into about a 2 to 3 goal breeze have continued where they left off. Up to the air it goes again, and out of the middle has Denton out to my broadcast position. There's Azevedo. He's got a player to beat. He was pushed in the back and going for the mark. Been pretty consistent with that in both AFL and GNFL this season, Glenn. So Azevedo on the wing here. He sends it into the half-forward area. Got a couple of players. The big ruckman goes up and Tasemel couldn't take the mark. Goes over his head, goes to ground. There is a player there who picks it up, and that's Farron Parfitt. He's quickly brought to ground, caught in possession, one would think. A free kick going away off the defence for Chapman Valley. So Chapman Valley, Glenn, under siege is an understatement.
For sure. The ball in the back line. Chapman Valley defenders trying to get the ball somewhere to go, and he runs around his opponent. Now he kicks it long up towards the centre wing, and the Chapman Valley youngster stands his ground, Arlo Mosey Jack. takes the mark, plays on now from half back, kicks it towards the centre, looking for another young player in Hughes. Hughes couldn't mark it. Ball comes out, goes the way of a Rovers player who breaks the tackle, gives it back to Sean Brennan. Brennan goes by hand, gives it the way of Eastoff. Eastoff breaks the tackle, and Rovers are being able to do that pretty well this afternoon. Gets the ball forward. A Chapman Valley player comes straight through Farron Parfitt. Farron Parfitt asks, "What about me?" Ball comes back towards Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson kicks it deep in towards the forward pocket, looking again for a loan. And we know if he gets a hold of the ball, he'll do something with it. But the boundary line comes in, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. In fact, it'll go the way of Chapman Valley. So Chapman Valley in defence, under the pump, and they need to get the ball out of there. So Chapman Valley defender has the ball deep in the left back pocket. He goes right across the face of goal, which is always very dangerous and very, very surprising. But young blokes do that these days. The ball goes for the forward, goes the way of Simpson, picked up now by Chapman Valley. Get the ball up forward, and young Hughes takes a good mark. Mason Hughes under a fair bit of pressure in front of his home crowd. The 16-year-old grabs the ball, kicks it up towards half forward. Nobody home for Chapman Valley. Bo Simpson's there for Rovers. Short pass finds Kevin Sealander. Kevin Sealander gets it towards the centre and finds Brennan. Sean Brennan runs around his opponent, breaks through the centre, shoots up towards half forward now, kicks it towards the teeth of goals. Chapman Valley is the only player there and takes a very good strong mark. This is Jaden Thompson. And Jaden Thompson, the full-back, will go back and relieve the pressure. So Sean Brennan probably took a step or two too far, and he wasted the kick, but at least he got it forward. Ball now with Thompson. Thompson goes out wide, right across the face of goal, out of bounds on the full. So Rovers will get the ball back into play, and Rovers will run the ball in through Chris Scott. Chris Scott, big kick, up towards full forward. But once again, Chapman Valley player stands ground, and he's been very solid back there this afternoon, Jaden Thompson.
He certainly has. Glen Rock at Gibraltar. There's no understatement there. The ball going back the way now of Tim Schofield. Schofield working hard, gets it to Begonio. Begonio, the big kick, straight down the middle. The former West Coast Eagle squad member sends it into the half-forward area. Bo Simpson is the only player there in defence for Rovers to gather it. He's the only player there, incidentally. He kicks it to the outer side, looking for his brother there in Kane Simpson, but the boundary comes up quickly. The ball rolls over. So Rovers in the commanding lead on the scoreboard, 9-4-58, goes 1-2-8. Getting a bit confused with the timing in the last quarter, Glenn, but as you mentioned, they stopped the time clock when they didn't use the scoreboard, so that confused us, didn't it?
That threw us a little. Ball comes back into play, and the ball goes the way of Chapman Valley. Can they get something while the ball is in their forward 50? Goes the way of Mason Hughes. The young man shoots on goal.
Good goal.
Looks very good. He needed that. So
goal.
did Chapman Valley. And Mason Hughes has kicked a magnificent goal from deep on the boundary line, 45 metres out. Wouldn't have seen a lot of sunlight from where he was, and a magnificent goal. And Chapman Valley needed that one to give them a little bit of inspiration, because on the Bambi scoreboard they still trail by a margin. Rovers are 9-4-58, Chapman Valley are 2-2-14, and a very, very good goal there to Mason Hughes.
Certainly was. The year 10 from Nagle Catholic College certainly taking all before him in his footy at the moment, Glenn, and he's innate inability. I know he's worked at his footy, but he's just got that extra special bit of panaz, and like the young fellas, if he was directly in front he might have missed that, but give him a tight angle like that and straight
Makes it look pretty easy, didn't he? Yeah. No, it was a magic goal, so well done to him. There's been some good goals kicked this afternoon. Of course, Rovers have kicked more of them because they have got a very good score line at the moment. Chapman Valley trying to work their way back into this contest, but they've got a long way to go.
Mason Hughes, he's got a bit of a career in front of him, I would think.
Let's hope so. The ball comes back into the centre. Umpire throws the ball up. Rovers will pick it up through Azevedo. Goes the way now of a teammate who slips over the crucial stage, but he gets it back towards the player there in Tazewell. Tazewell grabs it, kicks it towards full forward, and there he finds Farron Parfitt. Farron Parfitt marks the ball. He was going to handball on. Umpire said, no, he didn't. So
I think he was just giving Chris Scott a bit of a teaser there.
That's right. So the ball goes back, and Farron will shoot on goal. And as we mentioned, Farron is a noted goal scorer, but he hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon, so he wants to get in on the party. Farron is 45 metres out, almost directly in front, kicking to the northern end. And Farron lets sail with a good kick, looks pretty good off the boot. Goal umpire signals 1 point only. And on the Bambi scoreboard, Rovers are 9 goals 5, 59. Chapman Valley are 2-2, 14. Ball to be brought back in by the Chapman Valley defence. They go out towards the club room side, pack into the air. Chapman Valley have it through Mick Horseman. He goes by hand to Geordie Logie. Logie goes by hand to Schofield. Kim Schofield kicks the ball up towards centre wing. Ball once again very close to the boundary line, and the boundary umpire will come in and throw the ball up in the true centre wing position in front of the good crowd here at the Mazzucchelli Oval. Lots of people on the Farrell balcony as usual, enjoying the sun in what is a beautiful day for football here in Nabawal.
And beautiful Chapman Valley, Glen, the ball coming out off a Rovers handball, and through the middle of the ground they go now, the Demons, into the half-forward area. Can they set something up here at the back? The mark is taken by the Chapman Valley player, who's straight up into the air, and he will relieve the pressure, and that's certainly what they've been doing. The defence at the moment, they're holding their team in the game, but the ball comes straight back in the middle there, and there is Farron Parfitt. He stops the ball and sends it up into the air, and down comes the talents to take the mark. And I don't say that too easily, because this man is certainly talented. We're talking about Josh Simpson. So he's already got, I think, 1 to 2 goals already.
He's got two goals.
So he's going for goal number 3. He's marking out his territory, Glenn.
He's done that all day.
He looks a little bit like Dennis Lilly, doesn't he?
Yes. He kicks the turf.
Yeah, here he comes now. So Josh Simpson going for goal number 3. He'll come on to this one just inside the forward 50. And, he's played probably at a few clubs here in the Great Northern Football League, but been with the Demons probably the longest over the journey. So when he comes now, Josh Simpson. Kick isn't the best of kicks, but it's a straight kick, and it's through for another goal. He's got his 3rd for the afternoon. That's his Rovers goal to go for their 10th, and they certainly are giving a bit of a lesson here to Chapman Valley today.
Yes, they are certainly a little bit above Chapman Valley this afternoon. Josh Simpson gets his 3rd goal, as Peter mentioned, so he's away to a very, very good start. But he seems to like himself as a forward, Peter. Have you noticed at both ends of the ground?
He's playing at both ends, yeah.
He's saying, I want to play in the forward line. He's telling the coaches, I might be he could be a very good forward for a long time. He's only a relatively young fellow.
I reckon if you were a Rovers coach, you'd love it, because you can play him anywhere, really.
Well, that's the thing. He can play anywhere. That's the good thing about him. Ball back in the centre. They brought in Jamin alone to run in the midfield now. The big fellas go at it. This time Mick Horseman gets the best of it, gets the way of Kim Schofield, who's been good again this afternoon. Gets it up forward, looking for Borgono, couldn't mark it. Ball carries a player, goes the way now of Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson puts it on his left foot and picks out Credelli. Credelli with the ball. Goes by hand. On that occasion, it's Kyson. Credelli gets it back towards Simpson. Simpson gets it up the ground and finds Credelli. This time it may be the other Credelli. The ball goes forward. Cohen, yes. Ball goes forward, goes the way of Chapman Valley though. Sam Solomon stands his ground, kicks it forward, finds Geordie Logie. Logie goes across the ground and picks out a Rovers player. Rovers play on quickly, and it goes the way now of Simpson. Short pass goes the way of Rovers, and Rovers clear it out. Comes back towards Sheldon Nelly. Sheldon Nelly kicks it forward, looking up there for Tom Denton. Tom Denton chasing the ball. Ball comes the way of Chapman Valley. Chapman Valley go the way of Cody Doran. Goes back towards a teammate now in Kim Schofield. Kicks it forward, and a good mark taken there by Michael Horseman. Horseman gives it back to Schofield. Chapman Valley off half back. Big kick up towards half forward. Looks there for Tyree Thorne. He plays on with a short pass, finds Daniel Borgono. Borgono still a fair way from goal. Kicks it towards the forward line, where he picks out a teammate. That teammate is Mitchell Thompson, the captain. And Mitchell Thompson is 50 metres out from goal.
Haven't seen much of him today, Glenn.
No, been very quiet by his high standards. Mitchell Thompson lining up for Chapman Valley, another much-needed goal. It's still a long way behind the mark, but every goal counts. So, Mitchell Thompson, breathes at his back. Can he get a 3rd goal for his side and draw them ever nearer? They still trail by a margin. There goes the kick from Mitchell
Nice kick.
Thompson, it's a beautiful goal from 50 metres out. Shows how you can use the breeze to good effect. Mitchell Thompson gets his first of the afternoon. And Chapman Valley get their third. And as Chapman Valley, 3 goals, 2-20. They trail the Rovers side 10-5-65. So it's a 45-point margin. Of course, the Bambi scoreboard is also the Morris Webb scoreboard. And Morris Webb and his family have been great supporters of the Chapman Valley Footy Club. Morris has passed, but he is, and his family still support
today,
the club.
Desi, his wife coming through the gate, Glenn.
That's right, still working hard for the club, and as one of the wonderful volunteers that make clubs run throughout country regional WA.
A little bit to do with the school here too, in the library and that, isn't she?
Yeah, that's right, exactly, yeah. I think she's retired now.
Okay. Well, back in the middle now, and up they go. Last goal going to Chapman Valley, against the grain somewhat, but Demons have it again. Don't think out of their keeping for too long. Farron Parfitt gets away to this fella. We're talking about Sheldon Nally. He goes down the length of the half-forward area, bounces once, twice, kicks it inside the corridor, overshoots that. Field players develop around the ball to get possession. The umpire will throw it up. It's only metres away in the shadows of the goals for the Demons once again. So just waiting for the umpire to get the ball. Up it goes. Knocked down on this occasion by the player there in Jamie here. So Jamie playing a bit part here this afternoon, getting back into full fitness after his hand injury, and he was wrapped up pretty much for a few weeks. So certainly was a bit of an injury indeed, and so hopefully he's recovering for his side's sake. That is the ball coming out of the pack, going the way of Denton now. Denton to Credelli. Credelli overruns the ball though, going to ground now. The Demons still have it, and that's Kane Simpson, puts it into space. Azavado gets a nice little handball outside the pack, going the way now of Simpson. Simpson gives it away to Sheldon Nally, and what's he do? He scored another one. Young Nally, he's on fire today.
Sheldon Nally, who started slowly, has kicked 2 now, and Rovers carry on their merry ways. Every time Chapman Valley get 1, Rovers seem to get 2.
I think you helped him out earlier on, Glenn, when you said he should have continued with his kicking. He did.
Yeah, he did, and now he does. Yeah. So Sheldon gets his second goal, and on the Bambi scoreboard as we head towards time on in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, it is Rovers 11-5-71. Chapman Valley are 3 goals, 2-20 as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. And nearly half time at GBSC Sports Park, and Brigades starting to get a little bit of a break. Brigades 6-7, they lead Towns 3-2, so a reasonable margin there now in favour of the Hawks.
Back into the swing of things, and under the pump again, and this player certainly has been working hard, but certainly under the pump today. And talk about Schofield, and Schofield, his brother Jaden not playing today, and the rudder is certainly missing there.
Oh, certainly a quality player, and it's hard to replace. With Jaden Schofield playing in the state game for WA Country this afternoon in the Barossa Valley. That game gets underway at 5:30, so we do wish the West Australian team well against South Australia. South Australia have had the wood on West Australia in recent years, and Jaden is the only member of the squad from the Great Northern. So we do wish Jaden and the WA squad all the best in that big contest this afternoon at the Barossa Valley.
Free kick going the way of Chapman Valley, just backward of centre. The ball is Play quickly puts it onto his boots into the full-forward area. Up they go. Pagano was the biggest man there. He brought the ball down, but no one could take the mark. Out of the pack it comes though. Mark is taken by the Valley Custodian Horseman. He sees a player on the lead. That is Kim Schofield. Schofield has options. Goes backward then forward. Gives it to a teammate. He quickly puts it on his boot in Thompson. Thompson gets it down to the half-forward area. Can they set something up? But no, the show's been spoilt by Rovers, or has it? The back, it goes the way now of Kobe Simpson. He juggles it a bit, doesn't get control, or does he? Chapman Valley still have another opportunity. They do, as they shoot on goal, but on this occasion they do, and it was a nice little shot on goal this time by Tyrone Thorne. He was in the right place at the right time, Glenn, and he pounced. Yeah, important goal. Chapman Valley need as many of them, but Rovers overused the ball a little bit there in that defensive zone under pressure, and Tyrone Thorne, who looks like a promising youngster, getting a very important goal. Another one, his first of the afternoon. So well done to him. So goal scorers at the moment as we head into time on. We can tell you for Chapman Valley, Mitchell Thompson has kicked 1.
Tom Walker 1, Mason Hughes 1, and Tyree Thorne 1. For Rovers, their goal scorers, Clay Azevedo has 3, Josh Simpson has 3, 2 to Sheldon Nelly, and singles to Chris Scott, Gabriel Parfitt, and Jamin Alone.
Now, Rovers still have a commanding lead as we go into the middle stages of this Drennan O'Malley game day. You're listening to Radio Mama. Glad to have your company. This quarter incident brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. The ball going back away now of Sealander. He gets it, in fact, it's Farron Parfitt, gets it to a teammate off a half-back line. It goes away now of Simpson. It's Kane Simpson. He overshoots a couple of players and finds a teammate. A teammate bursts through the pack and going back the way of this player. Clay Azevedo, a beautiful kick into the full forward area. It was precision-like, but the mark wasn't taken. The ball goes to ground. It's quickly set upon by the defenders of Chapman Valley, who soccer it away laterally to the crowd side or the grandstand side of Mazzucchelli Oval, diving on top of it. No one's giving an inch at the moment. Chapman Valley struggle to stay in this game because Rovers certainly have a commanding lead.
They do indeed. Ball in the hands of the umpire, and Chapman Valley needing to regroup at half time. Not much time to play in this second quarter, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack. A Chapman Valley player was tackled. The umpire has no option to come in and throw the ball up. Umpires this afternoon, Paul Luxton, Darren Forrester and Theo Bennett. And the ball comes back towards Chapman Valley. The ball handballed forward. Rovers player does well, puts pressure on, and the umpire, Theo Bennett, has no option to come in and throw the ball up once more. So, time ticking by, and Rovers will go in with a massive lead at half time, on target to continue their undefeated run, it would appear, and sitting on top of the premiership table, and as Peter mentioned, likely to get a second semi-final if they finish on top as the top qualifier, and at the moment you can't see that being any impediment to them as the ball comes out of Rovers, goes the way now of the player there in Brennan. Brennan gets in the way of Scott, and Chris Scott, I might have to get his medicine after the game because
I reckon
the way he's playing today in
After
comparison to the way he played last
Yeah.
week, he might have been too cold and wet for him last week and had a few aches and pains. And the umpire says play on.
It's a Chapman Valley son, Glenn.
That is, he loves it. He is of course, a native of Chapman Valley.
He is. His family is certainly from here, the Scott family.
That's right. So the ball is with Jamie Geyer now, and Jamie back into the side. We know he's a clever player. Generally plays in defence, but he did play some periods in the forward line last year, and he's always dangerous. Jamie Geyer,
Pretty sharp angle.
deep in the right forward pocket. Very difficult shot, but he's a clever player. And it looks
He's
pretty
got
good
it.
off the boot.
He's got it.
He's got it on his left boot, and he's got another one on the board. And Rovers have got their 12th goal in the first half. Heading towards half time on the Bambi scoreboard, it is Rovers 12-5, 77. They lead Chapman Valley 4-2-26. So the margin certainly blown out since quarter time. It was large enough at 38 points at quarter time, and it'll be a massive margin at half time. Rovers continue on this merry
You
way.
talked about Chris Scott a little bit earlier on, having his roots going back into the Chapman Valley. Of course, Jim Scott, I think, was his grandfather.
No,
his great uncle.
His uncle.
Great uncle. Yep, great uncle.
His dad.
Yep.
Chris's dad, and Jim were brothers.
Yeah, and he won the first Plume medal.
Yeah, that's right. 1961.
He did. Ball back in the middle now, and Rovers certainly can't be moved too much in this game, you would think, as they come out of the middle once again. And we thought they did, but Kimmy Schofield had other ideas. Onto his boot he goes, that pink boot, into the half-forward area. There's Simpson, precision-like is Bo Simpson, sends it out to the wing and finds Brennan. Brennan down the wing now, and finds a player who plays on pretty handsomely on this occasion, and we're talking about Kobe Bursell. Bursell sends it inboard, up into the air it goes, but no one takes the mark. It is Chapman Valley who take the mark in the end. A host of players, but again the siren comes up pretty quick for, not too soon for Chapman Valley, I should say. They need a rest because Rovers are certainly giving them a clinic here this afternoon at Nabarwar Oval. Mazzucchelli Oval, to be correct. It is Rovers 12-5-77. 12-5-77. They lead Chapman Valley 4-2-26. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football.
relationship with Great Southern Fuels started with my father 50 years ago, delivering fuel in drums back in the day, which has progressed into large tanks now. They've been very reliable and efficient on time with service.
We run a mixed farming operation here on Chapman Valley, just north of Geraldton, managing about 5,500 hectares. We've been with what is now Great Southern Fuels for in excess of 20 years. There's always challenges and situations that catch you out, and they've been really, really good at accommodating that for us.
We've been with Great Southern for 28 years now. Look, they've given us exceptional service and they're price competitive, so it's wonderful.
They're a great company to work for. They're a family-owned business. They will support you and whatever is required.
I've got Alan's phone number, I've got Steve's phone number, and I know if I ring it I'll get an answer, which is really cool.
The relationship's great and the service is second to none. So I ring up and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday or whenever I ring up, I'll have fuel. So we've never been held up or had a problem with them. So my theory is that's what I'm about. It's about service and the relationship, and it's been fantastic.
It's very important to maintain long-term customers' loyalty and give back what you can when you can.
Great Southern Fuels is one of the few companies that I've been involved with that gives so much back to the local community. We support so many different organisations and country, sporting clubs, field days, farming organisations.
We endeavour to give back. The community looked after us by dealing with us, and we just gave it back in what we could do. Footy club needs a hand, well, it's because they need a hand that you give it to, not the other way around.
When you look at how they conduct themselves in the community, they've been a great supporter of the Livestock Transporters Association. Just incredible what they do.
I do a lot for the community, which is good. And not only Lake Race either, it's right through where all these outlets are all over the state. He's been excellent with that.
We tend to sponsor major events, the Great Southern Football Carnival, Colt Carnival.
Across the board, I think sponsorships are a very important part of any community. I grew up in Lake Race and footy was my life down there for a long time. Great Southern sponsored Lake Race back then, and along with many other footy clubs and hockey clubs and tennis clubs. And we might not always be making a big deal out of it, but the people that get sponsored, they understand and they relate to it.
They do a lot for the town, so I can't fault them. They've been brilliant.
Great Southern Fuels have got strong values, and that shows in what they do. They walk the talk and they do what they do.
You deal with people that are there and care about your business, and these people have been absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud of what Mum and Dad have achieved in their life and how they've structured the business, and it's all structured around our customers and looking after people and being in the right areas where we need to sell the fuel and have the support there and sponsorship, being part of the community, even though we're not in that community, but our workers are there and that's part of us.
And good afternoon, welcome back. Half time at the football, Drennan O'Malley Motors game day on Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. We're your home of GNFL footy, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And don't forget, you're listening to Classic Clashes, Premium Grains, Great Southern Fuels, Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation. They have the goal of the year, and AFCRI, the football mark of the year. And today's stream is brought to you by Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation and Community Bank Geraldton this third quarter, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. And Peter, you're looking after the contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day from the Rovers Footy Club. Who did you enjoy in the first half?
Well, into the second quarter, Glenn, just adding to the players from the first term: Sheldon Nelly, Josh Simpson, Bo Simpson, Chris Scott and Farron Parfitt.
And we're underway in this third term. Umpire Theo Bennett puts the ball into the air, and Rovers quickly get the ball forward and onto centre wing. Chapman Valley trying to put up a bit of a fight. Whistle on play. Umpire says, I'll throw it up again. The umpires this afternoon doing a great job for Sandra Carr, MLC, Paul Luxon, Darren Forrester and Theo Bennett. Ball into the air. Chapman Valley trying to get the ball forward. In goes a Rovers player now. Both sides going at it pretty hard. Goes the way of Jordan Gould. Jordan Gould feeds a handball out. Comes back to Jordan. Jordan Gould gets a short pass, smothered off the boot, and Rovers can rebound. They do so through the player there in Sheldon Nelly, the man of the moment. Gets it towards the boundary line, but once again Chapman Valley can steady as one of their better players in the first half. Jaden Thompson at full back has been outstanding. Gets it to another good player in Kim Schofield. Kim Schofield and Thompson clearly amongst the better players for Chapman Valley in the first half, along with Daniel Borgono, Mason Hughes and Mick Horsman. And Rovers go forward again. Rovers have the ball on centre wing. Goes the way of Scott. Chris Scott kicks it towards full forward. Finds Clay Azevedo 50 metres out. And Clay's got the breeze at his back.
I'll add him to my better players as well. Remiss of me there.
Yeah, Clay has already kicked 3. So too is Josh Simpson. Sheldon Nelly's kicked 2. Chris Scott, Gabriel Parfitt, Jamin Alone and Jamie Geyer have kicked 1 apiece. For Chapman Valley, goal scorers Tom Walker, Mason Hughes, Mitchell Thompson and Tyree Thorne have kicked 1 apiece. Can the Rovers juggernaut continue? Clay Azevedo, can he get his 4th of the afternoon? Sets sail for home. Looks pretty good. Goal umpire watches the ball over his head. And on the Bambi scoreboard, Rovers get another goal. Rovers go to 13 goals, 5, 83. They lead Chapman Valley 4-2-26. So it was a 51-point margin at half-time. It's now extended 56, 57. And, of course, they were 38-point margin in favour of the Demons at quarter time. So they go on their merry way. So a 37-point margin now. And Rovers starting to gear up for a big quarter, it would appear.
Certainly, and they led by 51 points at half-time, 38 at quarter time. So they really have had a stranglehold on this game right from the get-go here this afternoon. Clay Azevedo certainly has been one of the spearheads here this afternoon. I think that's goal number 4 for him, isn't it, Glenn?
That's right.
So he's having a birthday. Ball going out in the middle once again. It's picked up by the player, quickly puts it onto his boot, and Sealander, he sends it into the half-forward area. The mark isn't taken, goes to ground. Chapman Valley working overtime to get it out of defence. Rovers will try and keep it in as the youngster in Brennan goes up, outsmarted on this occasion by Schofield. That's Kim Schofield. He gets it out to a teammate then who's not equal to the task. Rovers get it back. They go forward again into the half-forward area, and they go through the guides of the player on this occasion in Jason Daniels. Haven't seen a lot of him today, but we haven't needed to. But it comes back the way of Chapman Valley now, and it's Thompson. Down the wing he goes. Thompson looks for opportunity, sends it inboard. It's a nice kick, but it hits it early before anyone can mark it. Horsman shoots to the big sticks. Inside the goal square it goes, and the mark is not taken. It was touched by the Rovers defender. The Chapman Valley player brings it to ground, and be a ball up in the shadows of the Chapman Valley goals.
As we go around the grounds, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly Moore, the member for Geraldton, ball slapped up, goes the way of Rovers, and Rovers are out of trouble through Jack Eastoff. Eastoff gets it up the ground, finds Tom Denton. Tom Denton on half-back, gets it towards centre wing, where he finds Jamin Alone. In other games, up there at Mullawar, tied scores up there. Northampton 30 points, lead Mullawar 27 at half-time. And Brigades 50 lead Towns 27 at half-time at GBSC Sports Park, as Rovers get ready to get the ball forward. Goes the way of Gabriel Parfitt. He draws a player. That player is Sean Brennan. Sean Brennan draws another player. Goes the way of
Nelly.
the player in Sheldon Nelly. And Sheldon gets his third goal of the afternoon. And it's getting a very, very big scoreline here for Rovers now. And on the Bambi scoreboard, we see that Rovers are now 14 goals, 5, 89. They lead Chapman Valley 4 goals, 2, 26.
I think the Smith brothers, who coach this outfit in Rovers, would be very happy to see a lot of their passages of play, especially when finishing off goals. They've got players that have got the talent to finish the goals themselves, but they're playing the team game, Glenn. And Brennan on that occasion certainly demonstrated that, because he saw Sheldon Nelly right in the goal square. A nice little chip handball over the top, and Nelly finishing it off.
So just repeating those scores from other games at half-time, Brigade 7-8-50 lead Towns 4-3-27, and up at Mullawar, Northampton 30 lead Mullawar 27.
Well, coming out of the middle now, Rovers have the run of the green as they get it to a forward player there in Simpson. That's Josh Simpson. He kicks it up into the air. Inside the corridor it goes, and Chapman Valley player hooked into the sun. He couldn't take the mark. Unfortunate for him, the ball goes to ground. The ball in dispute. Just inside the forward 50, a Chapman Valley player, well, let's see, is quickly brought to ground. No prior opportunity, says the umpire, and we are ball up in that vicinity of Mazzachelli Oval. So, as we said, Glenn, a big crowd in attendance this morning, and they are seeing, as I said, a clinic put on by the Rovers Footy Club this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day for footy. You'd be able to have your picnic lunch on the bonnet this afternoon and watch Rovers do as they want to do. And Rovers preparing to finish on top of the premiership table, I would say. They're undefeated at this point. And this has been another very good performance where they've been able to flex
Next
their
week
muscles.
they play Railways.
Yes, and that'll be our a big game.
They'll be at the
too.
rec, is it?
Rovers play Railways at Red Dust Holdings
Yeah,
Recreation Ground. That'll be our Dread and O'Malley Motors game day, so it should be an absolute beauty. A couple of Railways players out here, as you mentioned earlier, having some fun, having a kick in the ground. And the ground does look beautiful. Everything
does look fantastic.
Looks good here as we see Chapman Valley have the ball in the half back line. They kick it forward, goes the way of a Chapman Valley player there in Fawn. 50 metre now, so
only the second for the game though, Glenn, which is interesting. It's mean that the game has been pretty open, really.
Well, yeah, it's been one-way street, hasn't it?
Yes.
So the ball is with Chapman Valley in the centre of the ground, and Fawn puts it on his boot and gets it forward. In fact, it might have been Omadai. Omadai got it the way of Daniel Borgono. He gets it up the ground and finds Kim Schofield. So Chapman Valley having a good possession of play for one of the times they've controlled the ball for any length of time. So Kim Schofield, usually good for a couple of goals each week, lighting up his first. He's 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle in front of the Chapman Valley Tavern pocket, in front of the Bambi scoreboard, shooting on goal, and will be an important kick for him and his club. Looks pretty good off the boot. Goal umpire says no, it didn't make the distance, off hands, and 1 point only is on the scoreboard for Bambi. Chapman Valley now 4 goals, 3-27. They trail Rovers 14 goals, 5-89.
Ball coming out of defence now for Rovers. That's with Kobe Bursell. Hasn't really been put to the test much this afternoon because Rovers certainly controlling the game. The ball on the half-back line now is with Tristan Simpson. Simpson now kick it toward our broadcast position. And we're broadcasting from the van for filming footy here this afternoon. Goes away of Alone. Alone sends it inboard and finds Chris Scott. Scott takes off, then he doesn't, then he does, and he doesn't. He gets away to a teammate there in Easthoff. Easthoff can set something up. He sees Sheldon Alley in the lead, and he just gobbles it up, Glenn.
Yeah, so Sheldon lining up for another goal, and Sheldon's had a lot of ball this afternoon.
Have you got pink boots, Glenn? Because everyone else has.
Yeah, they seem to be. I have.
Yeah, one of you have.
Yeah, I always wore pink boots. I was before my time.
Oh, I thought you just wanted a few in your wardrobe ready to go because it seems to be the boots of choice at the moment.
Well, I was wearing it 30 years ago. 40 years ago.
You were the trendsetter.
I was.
You were.
But I couldn't get a kick, so I put them back in the cupboard.
Now your grandson Sid.
Yeah, he would have them. Yeah, he would certainly wear them. There goes the kick. Looks pretty good off the boot, but offline, 1 point only on the Bambi scoreboard, so 1 point to Rovers. So Rovers are now 14 goals, 6-90, and we see Chapman Valley at 4 goals, 3-27. So a 10-goal margin. They're doing it very easily this afternoon, Rovers, I think we always thought Rovers were going to be the better side this afternoon, but the margin is a little disappointing. Ball comes the way of Rovers. Ball comes the way of Daniels, goes the way of Brennan. Brennan breaks around Mosley, puts it forward, looking there for Josh Simpson. Josh got an awkward bounce, so gave Chapman Valley an opportunity to get the ball back through Thompson. But the Chapman Valley player couldn't pick up the ball. Rovers player does. Ball spills, goes back towards the player in Easthoff. Easthoff kicks it towards full forward. Ball running free. Sheldon Nelly breaks a tackle, and Sheldon Nelly shoots on goal. And Sheldon Nelly, it's his 4th of the afternoon, and he's the equal leading goal scorer along with Clay Azavado this afternoon. The scoreboard for Bambi this afternoon is getting a workover thanks to Rovers, and Rovers' scoreboard is ticking over nicely. Rovers are 15 goals, 696. In fact, they are, 15 goals, 696.
Yep.
And Chapman Valley are 4-3-27.
Pretty good kicking by Rovers too this afternoon. Jason Daniels, Glenn, just a moment ago, he was in a passage of play and he misjudged the ball, but then as I followed the play as you called it, and then realised that he was the player that was still part of all that passage of play, and getting the ball again and getting it into the forward line for Nelly to finish it off. So that's just the way that the Rovers players are playing at the moment.
Yeah, this is a good training run for Rovers. They're running themselves into some pretty good form and pretty good fitness, getting themselves prepared for the big game next week against Railways. Railways have the bye this week, so they'll be looking forward to a big contest as we are next weekend at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, where Railways take on Rovers, which will be a beauty. Ball is with Rovers. Rovers players seem to take a while to get rid of the ball. Eventually he did. Comes back towards a player there who's tackled high. A Chapman Valley player on this occasion cops one high. The umpire says give it to him and let him have a shot towards forward. He does. Kicks it up towards the teeth of goal. Ball running free. Ball bounces. Rovers can clear up, or can they? In goes the Chapman Valley player, working hard to get it forward. Ball comes out now and picked up by a Chapman Valley player who's slung. The umpire says you did have no prior opportunity, so the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. It's about 15 to 20 metres away from Chapman Valley's goal, and Chapman Valley desperate for a goal in this third term. We've seen Rovers kick 3, and Chapman Valley haven't added to their tally. So the ball is still running free. Up it goes. Picked up now by Chapman Valley. That Chapman Valley player is tackled. Didn't have prior opportunity. Umpire says, get it out, man. He didn't get it out in time. So Rovers get the free kick. So Rovers to get the resultant free kick in the back line. So Rovers with the ball. The Rovers defender. In fact, it's Tom Denton. Tom Denton puts it on his right boot. Kicks it towards the centre of the ground. Looking up there for Sealander. Ball carries that player. Picked up again now by Sealander. He slips over at a crucial stage, but still gets hand to ball. Ball comes out towards centre. He goes the way of Josh Simpson. He gives it back to Gabriel Parfitt. He gives it back to Credelli. Credelli puts it on his right boot, kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Looking up there for the hard-running player in Jason Daniels. But the boundary line has come into play, and Chapman Valley with the lasso rule get the ball back in.
And early in the season, when Rovers, as you said, they've been having a pretty good season, haven't lost a game, but early on they demonstrated that they probably relied a lot on individuals, and the actual structure of their side wasn't as good as it could be. But that certainly has changed as the season has developed, as we see the ball in the full forward area now, and a check side kick by Scott on goal. That was pretty special. So it's got our looking into the sun here.
Yeah, it is Chris Scott, I think.
Chris Scott, yeah, Chris
so
Scott.
That's his second.
Yeah, check side kick, and that was a special kick by him. But then, like all facets of their game have improved over the year. They've had the wins, but it hasn't stopped them from winning. But they've seemed to have improved on their structure, and I think that's something that's going to frighten teams going into the finals, because their run and stun is special, but with a bit of structure to back it up, they are certainly an awesome combination.
Well, I think the fact they've played a little bit more often together too now and starting to know each other's accuracy. They've been around each other for a long time. They train now together and they play together, and they certainly learn. And you certainly improve by playing the game. You don't improve by not playing the game. Rovers have been pretty steady. Most of the players have played pretty regularly. There haven't been a lot of players coming and going. They've been pretty across the board. Ball back at the centre, and once again the big fellas go at it. Daniel Bulgono gets the best of it for Chapman Valley. puts it on his left boot, kicks it forward, looking up there for Thorne. Thorne slaps it out to his teammate. That teammate centres the ball, but it's an awkward kick, and it lets Rovers back in through Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson goes the way of Tazewell. Blake Tazewell, the vice-captain, grabs the ball, bounces, runs towards the forward 50, kicks it long, but he's a little bit offline, and ball goes out of bounds, and the ball will be brought back into play deep in the forward line for Rovers once again. So Rovers in control of this contest here at Mazzucchelli Oval, doing it easy in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. This is the premiership quarter, and nothing has changed since the half-time break. The margin has only extended with Rovers kicking more goals.
Ball coming in the forward, full forward area now for the Demons, and desperate stakes for the defenders for Chapman Valley as they hit the deck on top of the piece of leather. Drennan O'Malley Motors bringing in this third term, and ball about to be thrown up now in the shadows of the goals for Rovers, and Rovers players don't stop as we see Jamin alone turn around on a 50-cent piece, goes up into the air, drops short, goes back the way of Sheldon Nelly. Has he got goal number 5? Yes, he has.
He certainly has, and doing it very easy. The scoreboard rolls over for Bambi this afternoon, and a 17th goal for Rovers. Rovers are 17 goals, 6. Doing it well. 17-6, 108, leading Chapman Valley 4-3-27, and they're really blowing this game out of the water, Rovers, and they continue to run on and just do as they will. As we head towards the time on period in this third quarter, but we're still 5 minutes away from time on, so Rovers could kick another 5 goals in that time because they've kicked 5 in the first 15 minutes of this quarter.
Then an interesting fact, or interesting statistic fact, whatever you like to call it, is that Rovers have a brother combination coaching them in Corey and Brodie Smith. They are always named as the coaches, not one or the other is the coach. Has that ever happened in the GNFL before?
No, not that I can recall, no. It certainly may have happened. There's certainly been captains, coaches and co-coaches.
Yeah.
I think there has been co-coaches before. I know Northampton have done it on a number of occasions. I think most clubs have probably done it once or twice. But
always there's one person who's been the coach.
I've never seen a brothers coach in that sort of capacity. So yeah, they're doing well, and they would be enjoying what they're seeing this afternoon. We've played 15 minutes of the game at GBSC Sports Park in this third quarter, and Brigades are 8-9, Towns are 7-3. So a tight game there.
And they're all going the way of Simpson now. He's had a birthday this afternoon. He gets it down to Sealander, talking about Kane Simpson, and on his own is the big man in Daniels, and he marks uncontested and will have a shot on goal. He's been a good acquisition for Rovers, but he's moved into a side where he hasn't really had to stretch himself too much. He showed his wares, but he's fitted in quite well to the pattern of play for the Demons. And let's see if he can finish off with that description that I've given him with a goal to the Southern M. So Jason Daniels, let's see what he can do. The tattooed Jason Daniels puts it through the middle. Rovers score again.
Yes, it's too easy, and they get their 6th goal of the quarter. So it was a 51-point margin at half-time. It's blowing out quite quickly here on the scoreboard now, and it'll be a big margin if they keep going at this rate, and they seem to be doing it as they like at the moment. It's a training drill for the Rovers Demons this afternoon. Looking at a live update from the game out there at Mullawar, and we're into the third quarter there, and at the moment Northampton 6-7 lead Northampton 6-7 43 lead Mullawar 5-5 35. That game is still in progress, and it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Mullawar still in with a chance out there. Can they get their first win of the year?
Well, back in the middle, Rovers have an insurmountable lead, to say the least, here at Mazzucchelli Oval here this afternoon in the beautiful Chapman Valley. You're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Forenza on Sunday tomorrow, coming to you live from the platform markets. Don't miss it. Myself and the Princess will be there, along with the Vagabond of Gregory Street. Of course, that is the very entertaining Grant Woodhams. Ball into the half-forward area now for Chapman Valley. Can they stop the bleeding somewhat? But the Rovers defenders have other ideas as Kobe Bursell comes out of defence. Bottles the ball up somewhat. In the shadows of the big light towers here at Nabor this afternoon, but a free kick has been found going the way of Kobe Simpson. I talk about players waxing on and waxing off, and the Simpson brothers do that a lot, don't they, Glenn?
They certainly do. They love to kick to each other, and Cody and also Bo and then Kane, they all play their part. They all enjoy.
They do. And 1 week one steps up and the others take a back seat. The next week someone else steps up. Because in recent weeks it's been Kobe that's been a standout, but today's been playing a big part, hasn't he?
Well, that's right. He's hardly had the ball down his end, really. I guess that helps. Ball goes the way of Kevin Sealander. Kevin Sealander breaks across the half-forward line, kicks it forward and finds Jamie Geyer. And Jamie Geyer will line up the goal. He's already kicked one this afternoon. It was a very tough one in comparison to this one. He is a left footer. He's will shoot on goal. So Jamie Geyer has the ball.
So he's in Glenn's good books. Any left footers in Glenn's good books.
Well, they're pretty to watch. They're pretty to watch. Jamie Geyer is with the ball, 35 metres out. From the pocket, shooting on goal. Can he get his second of the afternoon and make the margin even greater?
Oh, no, he hasn't. Bad luck.
1 point only on the Bambi scoreboard. So we see the scoreboard tick over now. So it's an 88-point margin in favour of the Rovers Demons on top of the premiership table, and it is Rovers 18 goals 7, 116 doing the job on Chapman Valley, 4-3-27. Maybe it's 115 it is. So the ball is on the outer side, or the club room side of the ground, and the ball very close to the boundary line, and the boundary umpire will come in and throw the ball up.
Time ticking away in this, the third term for Drennan O'Malley. It's still a quarter to go, and how much more damage can Rovers do to Chapman Valley here this afternoon? They certainly are on target, as Glenn mentioned, to finish minor premiers, so maybe undefeated, but they do have Railways next week, and we will be there, Glenn, at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, a place that my dogs love to visit on a regular basis, but we'll be there next week to watch what will be the We've used it already this season, but it certainly will be again the clash of the Titans.
Yes, like you say, next week will be their biggest challenge, because the week after that Rovers play Mullawa at games at Greenough, and the week after that Rovers play Towns, and that game is at WA Country Builders. And then the following week, prior to the finals, it is a bye as we see another
Gabriel
goal.
Parfit.
So Gabriel joins the list, and Gabriel has kicked one already this afternoon, so he has got two now. So Rovers have had a real quarter. They have kicked some 7 goals in this quarter, so Rovers are on fire, kicking lots of goals, getting a lot of goal-kicking practice, but it's better than training. It is a good training drill, and they're very,
it's
very,
a bit
very
like
familiar.
a training drill out.
Well, it is.
Training
It's
drill out there
nothing more.
today, isn't it?
It's nothing more than a
and
training.
they've still got
drill.
a quarter to go.
Yes, so Gabriel Parfit gets his second of the afternoon, and of course Rovers, as I mentioned, they've kicked 7 goals in this quarter. Clay Azevedo's kicked 1 in this quarter. Sheldon Nally's kicked 3 in this quarter. Chris Scott has kicked 1. Jason Daniels has kicked 1, and Gabriel just kicked that 1. Ball back at the centre. We're underway as we head towards the latter stages of this third term. And Chapman Valley can't wait for the siren to blow, and nor either can I. The ball goes the way of the player there in Simpson. He gets it out, goes only as far as Jordan Gould, and Jordan Gould has picked out his young teammate, and something went right for Chapman Valley on that occasion, and Chapman Valley can line up for goal, and the player with the ball is some 35 metres out, directly in front, so has an opportunity to shoot on goal. So Chapman Valley player with the ball. Let's see how he goes. Hard to see what number he is wearing. So Chapman Valley goes towards goal. There goes the kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. And it's a kick from a young Chapman Valley player, but he's offline. And minus score is the result of that one. So the ball will come back into play. And it's out on the far side with Bo Simpson.
And Bo Walker's getting the kick today.
Yeah, well, Bo's hopefully getting a kick down there at Towns at GBSC. There goes the kick, goes forward, goes the way of Rovers, just in front of the Barrel grandstand here. And a big pack develops. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up. So the ball will be thrown up in front of the crowd. Chapman Valley crowd will be pretty quiet this afternoon after a pretty disappointing performance from their senior side, although they do have a lot of young players in the side at the moment as they look forward to the future. The ball comes forward, comes the way of Rovers. They slap boot the ball, and the player doing that is Josh Simpson. Josh has gone out of the game a little bit since the first quarter. Goes the way of Chris Scott, and Chris Scott took them on, and he was able to get rid of the ball in time. Ball goes the way of Rovers, who shoot on goal, and that is a good goal from Rovers and Clay Azevedo. Azevedo now goes up the list, and he has got 5 goals as well. So he's keeping up with Sheldon Alley. Him and Sheldon are having a bit of race who could get the most. So Rovers have got their 8th goal of the quarter. In fact, yes, their 8th goal of the quarter. So yeah, very good quarter from Rovers, and Clay Azevedo gets his 2nd of the quarter. So everyone's getting in amongst the goals in the forward line.
Quarter time should be coming up, 3/4 time I should say, very soon. It looks like it's about 24, nearly 25 minutes gone, but that's because there's been so many goals, Glenn.
Yes.
That they've had to stop the clock umpteen times. So
8 goals.
Yeah, so the ball back in the middle now, and Rovers are really piling them on here this afternoon, and next week they will have a test though, as we mentioned. They play Railways at Red Dust Holdings at Recreation Ground, and a few of the boys here from the Blues to check out the opposition, size them up, and don't think they have to stay around long to know that Rovers are dominant here today. As the ball goes back in defence now for Rovers, and it is Eastoff who has it. Out on the wing he finds Tazewell. Tazewell doesn't take the mark, but it goes forward out of Daniels. Daniels, in fact, it's the player there in Scott, tries to send it forward, inboard back to a player in Eastoff again down the line. He's looking for support. Daniels trying to run onto it now with a teammate, but the siren does sound. And it certainly has been a long time coming in this quarter to stop the bleeding somewhat, but there's still more pain to come, one would think, in the final term, because Rovers have a strong handle on this game at Mazzucchelli Oval here this afternoon. It is Rovers. Very good kicking indeed. Rovers 27, 127. They lead Chapman Valley 4-4, 28. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory, until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back. 3/4 time at the football. Drennan O'Malley Motors game day on Radio Mama. We are your home of GNFL footy. Glenn Barden and Peter Forenza bring you all the action this afternoon, along with classic clashes, premium grains, Great Southern Fuels, Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation, who provide our goal of the year, and AFCRI Football, the mark of the year. And today's streaming is brought to you by Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation and Community Bank Geraldton. And it's been a one-way street, and in that quarter, Rovers piled on the goals. They kicked 8 goals and looked very, very powerful. 99 points is the margin. We're about to get this final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants underway. And can Chapman Valley get a scoreboard looking a little bit more attractive? Well, they won't at the moment, as Rovers go quickly forward through Tom Denton. He gets it up towards half forward. The ball spills out, picked out by the Rover player there, and Clay Azevedo kicks it towards full forward. Ball picked up again by
He's got another one.
Sheldon Nelly.
6.
And Sheldon Nelly gets a very handy goal. That's Peter Bencher. That's his 6th of the afternoon. So he can't do much more than that. So Sheldon Nelly gets his first.
You reckon he's
goal
been to
scored.
Skeeters for lunch, Glenn?
Well, I reckon he might be soon. The way he's going, I'm sure he has been. And most people in the Midwest and Geraldton have certainly been to Skeeters for lunch. And maybe Sheldon is on the way with his 6 goals to this point. And Peter, you're looking at the contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, and I take it from what you say, Sheldon's right up there.
Sheldon's up there, so too is Clay Azevedo, Tom Denton and Chris Scott in that particular quarter.
Chapman Valley, their better players have been pretty consistent throughout the day. Jaden Thompson in defence, Kim Schofield around the ball as a rover, Daniel Borgono as the ruckman and trying to get things moving, and young Mason Hughes is working hard, so too is Mick Horseman. But Chapman Valley being outgunned clearly this afternoon. As we see Rovers go quickly forward again as the ball socketed out of the centre by Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson picks it up now, puts the ball on his left boot, kicks it towards full forward, ball over the back of the pack. And Chapman Valley's Nick Mosley's there, sees the ball across the boundary line, and there'll be a boundary throw in. As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Carolee War, the member for Geraldton. Up there at Mullawar, still a very tight contest, and at half-time, it was 30 plays 27, 4-6 to 4-3, so we'll have a 3/4 time score there shortly. But at the game at GBSC Sports Park, at the moment, 3/4 time, Brigades 8-10-58, lead Towns 7-3-45. So a good tight contest there at GBSC.
Certainly isn't here this afternoon. Rovers have a commanding lead. They led by some 99 points at 3/4 time, and certainly added to that to go over the ton into the final term. The ball is on the half-back line now with Chapman Valley. In front of their club rooms this afternoon, Borgonia takes the mark, one uncontested mark, he gets it out to the wing, and they're away. Not many of those sorties forward today, but that was a nice one. Into the half-forward area it goes. No one can get possession of it, but the Rovers' defence do better again. Going back the way of Simpson. That's Kobe Simpson. He kicks back to the grandstand side of the ground, just beside the Chapman Valley dugout, which will be scratching their head all day today because Rovers have been all over the top of this Royals outfit. And it is Tom Denton who has the ball on the half-back flank. Tommy Denton, a Clune medalist, of course, and having another good season with the Demons. Will it be a premiership one? Only time will tell. He kicks down the wing now. Up they go. The mark is taken just in front of the Rovers dugout. And they play on further afield. It looks like it might be Nelly, but there's a lone over the back. Gets it to this player. Farron Parfitt. Bang. It's another goal to the Demons.
Yes, they're doing it too easy and doing it very well indeed. So a great training run for the Rovers side. And Gabriel was that one?
That was Gabriel, I apologise. I thought it was Farron. It was
No.
Gabriel.
Was
number
it?
8.
Yeah, Gabriel.
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
Yeah, so looking at the goal scorers for Rovers, they've been sharing them around. Sheldon's kicked another one in this quarter, so he's got 6. Clay Azevedo's got 5. Josh Simpson's got 3. Gabriel with that goal has now got 3. Chris Scott has got 2. And Jamin Alone has 1. And Jamie Geyer has 1. Chapman Valley, their goal scorers, Tom Walker, Mason Hughes, Mitchell Thompson, and Tyrone.
Jamie Lone was the star of the show last week with Brigades. He sort of finished it off and got Rovers out of a pickle in the final analysis. But today he hasn't had to do much, Glenn, and that's another sign that Rovers are a pretty good outfit.
No, it's good. Yeah, he's been able to do what he needs to do, with not overuse himself. Chapman Valley players tackled, brought to the ground. Umpire will come in and throw up the ball. And looking at other scores, just repeating 3/4 time up there at Mullawar. Northampton look like they're now in control. Northampton 8 goals, 12-60. Lead Mullor 5-5-35. So the only game that's still in play, it would appear, is the game at GBSC Sports Park. So we'll be watching that one. Ball now with Cooper Omadai, who's worked hard this afternoon. Cooper Omadai puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for Tommy Walker. But out goes Chris Scott, and I'm going to get some of his medicine after the game. Ball goes the way of the player there in Simpson. Simpson gets a handball forward, and a bit of a push and a bit of shove going on between Scott and Tommy Walker, and the free kick will go up the ground, and Chapman Valley will have the free kick. So handball comes out, goes the way of Kim Schofield. Kim Schofield, big kick towards full forward, bounces the wrong way and proved for a minus score. So another score on the board for Bambi this afternoon, and Chapman Valley. 4 goals, 5, 29, and we see Rovers have added 2 goals since three-quarter time. They are 22 goals, 7. Doing it well.
They certainly are. The ball on the half-back line now with Rovers, full-back line I should say. And the ball coming out of defence is with Tristan Simpson. Umpires having a bit of a talk to a couple of players. I don't know what's happening here.
We're getting a free kick.
Free kick going the way of...
Don't know.
No.
Big Borgono has got a free kick. So Daniel Borgono
He'll have a shot on goal. Must have been something off the play, that's for sure.
So Daniel Borgono will shoot on goal.
And
Rovers player Tristan Simpson will stand the mark. So Daniel Borgono gets his first of the afternoon. And Chapman Valley see the scoreboard tick over for the first time in this half. So they'll be pretty happy about that, but none of us know how or why. And Daniel Borgono gets his first of the afternoon, which is an important score for Chapman Valley. Chapman Valley 5-5-35. They trail their opponents, Rovers, 22 goals, 7. As we look at the latest score update from the game there at 6 minutes into the last quarter at GBSC Sports Park, and Brigades are 8-11, Towns is 7-4. So a tight contest there at GBSC Sports Park, but Brigades in front at this point.
Ball back in the middle now, and I should say Chapman Valley scoring the last goal through an indiscretion. The goal scored by Daniel Borgono. Ball going forward now. Denton. He leans over the ball and does well, and then is pushed out of the way pretty easily. Ball back with Chapman Valley. There's Brennan. The player is felled after a passage of play, and I don't know if it's young Mojadak that's on the ground, but he quickly scrapes himself up. Yes, it is, and he's the recipient of a free kick. So a lot of late stuff off the ball late in the game that probably doesn't need to happen, which is quite interesting. So Mojadak off the back line, half back line, he sends it in straight down the throat of a Rovers player. There's Alone. He accepts the ball, sends it into the half forward area, looking for Simpson. Simpson only has 1 to beat. He can do this on a easy trajectory as he does a Socket Award goal, almost a Ronaldo, but it hits the post.
Yeah, minus score. So one of the few things that hasn't gone right for Rovers this afternoon, and the scoreboard rolls over on the Bambi scoreboard. Chapman Valley are 20. Rovers are 22 goals, 8, and Chapman Valley are 5-5. So a massive margin in favour of the Demons as Chapman Valley bring the ball out of defence. Mick Horseman has the ball. He's been working hard this afternoon. Feeds it out to his captain and Mitch Thompson. Mitch Thompson steady on centre wing. Kicks it up towards half forward. Looking up there for Borgono. Finds Daniel. Daniel Borgono with the ball. He's still 90 metres from goal, so he's looking for some movement. Gets a short pass forward there. Chapman Valley player in Hughes couldn't mark it. In goes a Rovers player in Eastoff. Feeds it back towards Tom Denton. Tom Denton kicks it out towards centre wing, where he finds Tazewell. Tazewell goes by hand to Tristan Simpson. Tristan Simpson kicks it forward, looking up there for Clay Azevedo. Azevedo goes the way of Gabriel Parfitt. Parfitt goes wide, looks there for Kobe Simpson. Kobe sets sail for home, and Kobe's offline on this occasion because he's hit the post. Good effort there from Rovers, a good build-up off half-back. And Rovers getting a couple of minus scores after a pretty, very, very efficient avenue to goal for most of the day. So another minus score on that occasion. So Rovers are 22 goals, 8, 140. They lead Chapman Valley 5-5-35.
And this quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Of course, Grant Russell, one of the best accountants in town. Well, I believe he is anyway, because he's mine, so that's okay. The ball just in front of our broadcast position, going forward now by Bogono. He sends it into space that a player can run onto, but he's quickly set upon, tackled, almost in possession. The umpire's letting it go on, but gee, that's incredible stuff. I think it's Brendan that's putting on the vice-like tackle, but the umpire let it go on for a little bit longer than probably it should have. I think maybe the Chapman Valley boy might have got away with that, but up they go now. In the shadows of the goals for Chapman Valley, can they get another consolation late in the game? Rovers have totally dominated this afternoon. Well, all players starting to get a little bit tired, and this sun-drenched Mazzucchelli over. The ball coming out of defence now, off the Rovers custodian, into space it goes, and there's Alone. He breaks the tackle as he would. He's so strong as Alone. He goes back in for a bite of the cherry. Nice little handball. Gets it away now to Bo Simpson. In turn, he gets it to Azevedo. He misses it on the first attempt. Is able to correct himself. Puts it onto his boot inside the corridor. Up goes Jamie Guy. That was a great mark. He plays on. He's going to run into an open goal. No, the bounce didn't. The bounce let him down. He gets 2 bites of the cherry. And finally, Jamie Guy, the captain, goals for the Demons.
Yeah, Jamie Guy gets his second goal of the afternoon, and certainly Chapman Valley, a few players looking a little bit worse for wear. The young players particularly looking a little bit worse for wear.
I think we're
pretty physical
going to question the bounce here on Chapman Valley's oval, Glenn.
Yes, well, at least he had another, that's the thing, he had another chance.
He did.
Just kept going, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to keep playing, and that's what he did. Chapman Valley player looks like he's got a shoulder injury. Looks like it might be Jordan Gould. He is
no good.
Going off. So he's in a bit of trouble.
That's no good, then.
He's holding his shoulder down.
He is like it's a collarbone or something.
Yeah, so he's getting assisted off. So the Chapman Valley coach, Paul Sorensen, has had a hard day at the office today. Paul Sorensen, of course, one of the champions of the Chapman Valley Footy Club. He's an assistant coach these days because the senior coach, Jaden Schofield's away playing state country. Paul Sorensen's had to stand up. So, yeah, young Geordie in a bit of bother as he goes off. He's had a great season, played a couple of very good games for East Fremantle in recent weeks, but he's playing today and he looks like he's in a serious shoulder injury, so we do wish him all the best in that as he gets help from the ground by the trainers and goes straight. He won't be back on this afternoon, but let's hope it's not as bad as it does look. Ball back in the centre with umpire Theo Bennett, one of the 3 umpires this afternoon, with thanks to Sandra Carr, MLC. Paul Luxton, Darren Forrester and Theo Bennett doing the job this afternoon. And there's a little bit of flinging, a little bit of flowing. And Rovers want to be careful. They've won the game by 100 plus points.
They don't need to do that, that's
and
for
you
sure.
don't need to get reported prior to the big game against Railways next week and lose the structure. So the ball comes up the ground and the ball will go the way of Kim Schofield, who has the ball in the centre of the ground, or centre half forward. So he'll shoot the ball up towards the teeth of goals. Going to get up towards Bogono. It's a beautiful kick. Very good kick indeed. Right on the line. The Rovers defender did well and put his hands over it, but it was behind the line.
He's behind the
so
line,
a very good goal there from Kim Schofield. A beautiful goal from 55 metres out, and Kim Schofield gets his first of the afternoon, and he's worked very, very hard this afternoon, as he always does. A class player playing a class game, and Kim Schofield finished it well. But that was another deliberate move from the ball from the centre, went to centre half forward, and a wasted opportunity there from Rovers, but a good opportunity for Chapman Valley. So on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley are 6-5-41. They trail Rovers by a massive margin, 23 goals, 8, 146. So it is a 105-point margin in favour of the Rovers Demons. And Rovers...
And will be the biggest win for the Demons this season, I'd say, Glenn.
Really?
No, I don't know. At
Mullawar.
The Mullawar would have been a much bigger one, so we forget that one there. But it's they've had a lot of close games, the Demons, and this certainly isn't one of those.
No, what you're saying is correct, because I don't even think they beat Rovers by that much. Rovers didn't beat Mullawar by as much as this.
No, I thought it might have been in the 120s, actually. But anyway, I could be wrong. The ball into the full forward area now for Chapman Valley. Young Hughes, he doesn't give up. He's got a bit of class, this young fella. But off the half-back line is Tristan Simpson. He goes forward now and finds Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson down the line, and the Dojo Clune medalist. Denton runs onto it. He sends it inboard, and a nice mark is taken by Gabriel Parfitt. So Gabriel Parfitt's in the corridor. He's a little bit further out than I think he can kick. He's going to kick outside the forward 50 on this one, but he's against the breeze. But the breeze, I think, has come to a bit of a standstill, Glenn. It seems pretty quiet out there at the moment. So Gabriel Parfitt's going to try and hoist this one. He's almost on the cricket pitch to kick it. So let's see what he can do. Kicking toward the northern end. Trying to kick it toward Northampton. He's trying to get right onto this one. So here he goes. That's Gabriel Parfitt. Yeah, it's a good kick. It's a straight kick, and it's straight through the middle. He's certainly shown me a thing or two. And Gabriel Parfitt has scored, I think, his second goal. His fourth goal. Gee, they're really sharing them around this afternoon, and there's quite a few to share around, Glenn.
That's right. If you didn't get 4 goals today, you'd think you had had a pretty ordinary day, because they're all sharing them around, as you say, Peter. The leading goal scorers at the moment, we've had Sheldon Nelly, he's kicked 6. We've seen Clay Azevedo kick 5, and now Gabriel Parfitt has kicked 4. So a big day for the Rovers forwards, getting themselves into a fair bit of form and doing it pretty well as the margin extends. And there's certainly one-way traffic this afternoon, and a big win for the Rovers club. They keep their undefeated record. Rovers 24 goals 8, lead Chapman Valley 6 goals 5. So a massive win coming up in favour of the Demons.
Ball back in the middle now as time ticks away, and it's 15 and a half minutes gone on the clock in the final term. And gee, the Chapman Valley side will be happy to hit the showers tonight as the ball goes forward again for Rovers. Almost picked up by Azevedo. He misses it on that occasion, but a late tackle there by Chapman alone, probably seen as a sling tackle, but it was a hard tackle. And the player is still on the ground. It's young Mason Hughes, I think it is.
There's going to be some interesting vision used this week, and I'm sure the umpires will have a close look at some of these incidents.
And the boy is still on the ground, so hopefully he's okay. So the trainer's coming out. I think it is young Hughes. So he's getting himself up. He's a tough cookie, the young fella. And
there's been a card, so I don't know whether it was a yellow card or a red card, but a yellow card to Chapman alone.
Chapman alone, yeah.
So he's been carded.
So obviously for the sling tackle.
And the umpire's writing in his book now, so there is an incident that will be restraining.
So I think it's young Hughes, is it, Glenn? I think so.
I can't see.
Yep, he's headed toward the boundary now, so he's shaken up pretty badly. When Chapman line gets hold of you, certainly could rattle you somewhat. So he's gone into the book, and it's been a day that shouldn't have happened with the Rover Football Club. They certainly are dominating this game this afternoon, and things like that just probably don't need to happen, and I'm sure the club will certainly take action in that regard. The ball off the half-back line now goes to the outer side. Borgonio is playing on a wing now, so the biggest wingman in the comp as he sends it inboard and into the half-forward area it goes. Players setting themselves.
He's very handy.
He certainly is. He's very agile. The ball going forward now for Rovers again, going back the way now of this player. He puts it onto his boot. That is Gabriel Parfitt. He sends it forward. The player couldn't take the mark. That player was Gaia. The ball goes toward the boundary. Chapman Valley working hard. Rovers putting on the pressure in the half-forward area. I should say the full-forward area, going to the sanctuary of the boundary, but it's the Rovers players who are able to mop up. They come back inboard, and the mark is taken now by Eastoff. So Eastoff's going to try and send it up. He doesn't trust his kicking, sends it further afield, and finds Kobe Simpson, who's decided he wants to play up forward and sharing the goals this afternoon, Glenn.
And Peter, you were mentioning earlier when Rovers played Mullawar, it was a 132-point margin.
Yeah, I thought it was, didn't I?
132-point margin in favour of Rovers. And Rovers will have a massive win today. But it may not be 132, but it won't be far behind it. There goes the kick from Kobe Simpson. Straight through the centre. Kobe gets his first of the afternoon. And another score on the board for the Rovers Demons. So Kobe Simpson getting a goal for himself. Played most of the game in defence. But looking at the scoreboard now for Bambi, the childcare centre, we can see that there's 25 goals, 8, 159 to Chapman Valley. 6 goals, 5, 41. So a big win coming up for the Demons as we head towards time on in this final quarter, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants.
Back in the middle now, time ticking away on Brennan O'Malley game day. Next week we're headed to the spiritual home, I believe, of football here in the Midwest. It is the recreation ground, and known as the Red Dust Holdings recreation ground at the moment, or this season. And that's when Rovers will take it to the home side, Railways, who sit, I think, Glenn, will still sit in probably second position tonight. I'm not sure.
No, they won't.
They will go to
Brigades
third.
will win.
Okay, there. So
I would think so. I
Yep.
wouldn't know the percentages, though. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, so very interesting. But Rovers will certainly be on top going into that game as it goes forward to Borgono now. So I figured a lot in the second half. Was with the ruck a lot of the day today as well, as Thompson has a shot on goal but misses all in sundry, I think, and the ball will be brought in from in the full forward area for Chapman Valley, as the boundary umpire was way off the mark there. He's had to run about 50 metres to get the ball, but it'll be thrown in now, and Ken Chapman Valley well, worsen the pain somewhat, change the percentages. See what they can do. As the ball comes in now, players setting themselves, up they go. It's knocked down by Kobe Bursell, down the throat of a Chapman Valley player, but Rovers probably do the better, and that's been the story this afternoon. They're more intent as the ball comes out of defence now. The Rovers players knocking it forward, and it looks like it's young Credelli who has the ball. He goes one way then the other. He's almost at sea though, Credelli. The ball goes back the way now of Rovers, off the half-back line. It sees the play there going forward from Sealander. Sealander kicks to the outer side, bottled up once again, and the umpire will go into, as they say in the classics, relieve the pressure.
Yeah, it's a very tight percentage between Brigades and Railways. Of course, Railways not playing today. Brigades are playing. If Brigades can win,
they're going to second spot.
They're below Railways on percentage at the moment, but of course, if they win and win by a few points...
well, that will put them on the same amount of games.
They'll be on the same amount of games, but it'll just be the percentage.
So I might be right about Railways staying in second spot.
Yeah, they may.
The ball going forward now, and it is Simpson who gets it across now to that player in... I've liked him today, although he's got a bit quieter in this quarter. I'm talking about... the player that has impressed me this afternoon. His name's lost me at the moment because I've had a bit of a... Sheldon Nally, that's the bloke I was talking about. He's been good today, probably one of his better games, and so too this fellow. We're talking about Clay Azevedo. Just backwards of centre, or outside the centre square, sends it into the half-forward area, and there's... Kobe Simpson does a nice little chip pass back. Rovers, can they muff it up because they're playing around with it? And in goes Guy. He can't seem to do anything with it. Kobe Simpson comes in again, burrows in, turns around on a 50-cent piece. And what's he done? No, it's been spoiled in the final analysis and going through for the minor score. So getting pretty tight out there at the moment, Glenn, but it's all been one-way traffic for the Demons today.
Good bit of defence there from Chapman Valley. Yeah, if I was a Chapman Valley defender who'd run the pump, I would have turned around and kicked it through myself as an own goal, because it would have been safer and bring it out through the points.
Yeah, exactly.
Ball comes the way as Chapman Valley kick it out of defence, kicks it up to the big man in Borgono, and Daniel Borgono.
He's taken about 6 marks in the second half, that bloke.
He's been clearly one of their better players. Gets the ball up towards the forward line. Ball comes the way of Tristan Simpson. He's had a couple of good weeks, as Tristan.
He has.
Gets it up the ground, finds Tom Denton. Tom Denton plays on quickly from centre wing, kicks it up towards half forward, looking again for the hard-working player there in Cody Simpson. He took a while to get rid of the ball. Eventually he does. Ball comes forward from Sean Brennan, gets the way of Gabriel Parfitt. And the final score has come in from the game at GBSC Sports Park, with thanks to Currally War and the City of Greater Geraldton. We can tell you that Brigades are winners. Brigades 9 goals, 12-66 have defeated Towns 7-5-47. So Towns still remain 2 games below Chapman Valley on the premiership table, so it does get difficult from them now to make up those 2 games. And it may come down to,
if they'd had a win today, things could have turned around quite dramatically.
That's right, and it would have come down to that last game. But at the moment, Towns have got a pretty good run home. They do have a big game next weekend, which won't be an easy one, of course. They have got Mullawall next week, which you'd expect them to win, I should say. And then the following week, it is Towns playing Chapman Valley. That's the game we've been talking about. Then they play Railways, and then they play Northampton.
Gabriel Parfitt has the ball now, almost directly behind him. Glenn, as he kicks toward the northern end into beautiful sun, going straight across the face of goal, because all he saw was silhouettes. The mark was almost taken by Rovers players, quickly brought to ground, and the ball comes out of a passage of play, and I think a free kick is going to go the way of the defenders for Chapman Valley. So the defenders have had to really work overtime today, haven't they, Glenn?
They certainly have. They've been under the pump, to say the least, but they've done okay considering. Whistle on play, free kick's been picked out, go the way of Chapman Valley once again. It's Borgono, who's working extremely hard, gets it up the ground, finds a teammate. That teammate is Omadai. Omadai is another player that's worked well this afternoon. Omadai puts it on his beautiful left boot, kicks it forward, gets it away of Hughes. Hughes breaks across the centre, gets a handball away, but it only goes as far
So obviously
as
not
the Rovers
Mason
player.
Hughes that was injured, Glenn.
No. Ball comes the way now of Tom Denton. Tom Denton with the ball. Tommy Denton steadies, kicks it towards full forward, looking again for Kobe Simpson. Ball comes forward, knocked forward, well rowed by Gabriel Parfitt. Gabriel shoots on goal, but he's offline. 1 point only on the scoreboard this afternoon. And the scoreboard ticks over once again for a minus score for the Rovers side. I think it's 25 goals 10?
11.
25-11 it is now, thank you, John. So 25-11 to some 5 goals, 5, something like that. The sun is shining off the scoreboard for Bambi this afternoon.
Can't see the numbers.
So we can't see the numbers at the minute.
6 goals, 5.
Ball comes the way of Rovers, and Rovers have the ball through Kobe Simpson once again.
6 goals, 5, Chapman Valley Glen.
Okay, 6-5 to 25-11.
And we've got now Kobe Simpson having another shot on goal. So he's already
Kobe's
got a couple. Well, he's got 4. Not a couple. He's going for goal number 5.
Kobe Simpson.
Yeah.
No, he's only got 2.
Oh, he's only got 2.
He's got 1, and this will be his second.
Oh,
if he gets
second.
it.
Oh, okay then.
He's been up the other end. There goes his kick. He's offline, and his coaches will say you go back up the other end if you keep doing that. And we see the scoreboard roll over, and another score: 25 goals, 12 Rovers, and 6 goals, 5 at Chapman Valley. So a massive win here for Rovers, and a big win in favour of the Rovers side, who keep winning well. And this is another massive win for them this afternoon.
The ball in the half-forward area now, so we've got a player that we're looking into as the sun-drenched Nabor Oval here this afternoon. Mazzucchelli Oval will be correct. And the siren has sounded. This player will have a shot on goal, but it looks like that it's going to be a massive win to Rovers, and we'll just wait for this player to have his shot. He's almost at the community centre car park, but he's going to have a shot on goal anyway. So let's see what he can do. I think it's at Kobe Bursell perhaps, I'm not sure. Can't see from where I am. He's on the far extremities to our broadcast position here this afternoon, but the kick isn't a bad one.
Right,
it goes across the face of goal and no score at all. So the final score, we're going to have a bit of support from
Rovers
our support.
at 25 goals 11.
Work, our support
25
network.
goals 11 to Chapman Valley 6-5.
So 25-11 to 6 goals 5. Rovers in a canter this afternoon here at Mazzucchelli Oval, and you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
The relationship with Great Southern Fuels started with my father 50 years ago, delivering fuel in drums back in the day, which has progressed into large tanks now. They've been very reliable and efficient on time with service.
We run a mixed farming operation here on Chapman Valley, just north of Geraldton, managing about 5,500 hectares. We've been with what is now Great Southern Fuels for in excess of 20 years. There's always challenges and situations that catch you out, and they've been really good at accommodating that for us.
We've been with Great Southern for 28 years now. Look, they've given us exceptional service and they're price competitive. So it's wonderful.
They're a great company to work for. They're a family-owned business. They will support you and whatever is required.
I've got Alan's phone number, I've got Steve's phone number, and I know if I ring it I'll get an answer, which is really cool.
The relationship's great and the service is second to none. So I ring up and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday or whenever I ring up, I'll have fuel. So we've never been held up or had a problem with them. So my theory is that's what I'm about. You know, it's about service and the relationship, and it's been fantastic.
It's very important to maintain long-term customers' loyalty and give back what you can when you can.
Great Southern Fuels is one of the few companies that I've been involved with that gives so much back to the local community. We support so many different organisations and country, sporting clubs, field days, farming organisations.
We endeavour to give back. The community looked after us by dealing with us, and we just gave it back in what we could do. Footy club needs a hand, well, it's because they need a hand that you give it to, not the other way around.
When you look at how they conduct themselves in the community, they've been a great supporter of the Livestock Transporters Association. Just incredible what they do.
I do a lot for the community, which is good. And not only Lake Race either, you know, it's right through where all these outlets are all over the state. You know, he's been excellent with that.
We tend to sponsor major events, the Great Southern Football Carnival, Colt Carnival.
Across the board, I think sponsorships are a very important part of any community. I grew up in Lake Race and footy was my life down there for a long time. Great Southern sponsored Lake Race back then, and along with many other footy clubs and hockey clubs and tennis clubs, and we might not always be making a big deal out of it, but the people that get sponsored, they understand and they relate to it.
They do a lot for the town, so yeah, I can't fault them. You know, they've been brilliant.
Great Southern Fuels have got strong values, and that shows in what they do. You know, they walk the talk and they do what they do.
You deal with people that are there and care about your business, and these people have been absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud of what Mum and Dad have achieved in their life and how they've structured the business, and it's all structured around our customers and looking after people and being in the right areas where we need to sell the fuel and have the support there and sponsorship, being part of the community, even though we're not in that community, but our workers are there and that's part of us.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory, until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.